Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. I totally forgot to fix my camera before I started. Today we're going to be doing the Poison Crit Wolf. Yeah, it's a Poison Crit Wolf, because he's a critty, and he's a wolfy of crittiness. You guys are seeing the edge of my green screen. Whoop. Whoop. My skirt is showing. Don't look under my skirt, you dirty, dirty, dirtyites. How dare you look under my skirt? Don't look under my skirt. There we go. Fixed it. Yay. Alright, let's hop into chat and let's go jacking to people. Why not?
And so I know it's kind of shitty.
What's up, every guy? Oh, that was terrible timing.
Have this one I could use, Dan, or I have this one. And tell me if you think it's worth the item power reduce to put that rare one on. Like, which one of those you think I should use? I mean, the rare one's gonna have the most Grizzly Rage uptime, right?
Grizzly Rage. You doing that Earth Grizzly Rage thing where you can do your Earth spells?
No, I'm doing the Werewolf Grizzly Rage for the Tornado.
No.
Because I got 3 of those helms that no one could get the Tempest Roar.
I've got one too. Mine's pretty. I'm going to link it just to make fun of Luli. Hold on. Since he linked to Romuladni's last time when I was looking for my Romuladni's.
Yes. Zan's cut deep too when you link that. Both of these guys are cut deep.
Hey, I found a couple of them, actually.
That rare one has the perfect stats on it, but it's kind of low level.
763 base, right? So which one would you choose if I was to put a perfect Grizzly Rage aspect? Well, one already has a aspect.
Well, it's not that rare. I'd say number 2.
The 779 base?
Yeah. Can you roll the cooldown cheaply still?
Let me go look.
Because if you get that a little bit higher, it'd be more worth it.
860k right now. 1 mil. 6
Oh, also, are you using if you're using the shield, you might just want to stick with what you have now.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, the barrier. No, not in this build. I'm not using the bulwark.
Remember, like, how I have this character set up or what's going on?
Because yeah, I would say number 2.
Oh yeah, I was going toward the win 3 or more. Poisoned enemies are nearby. You deal 45% increased damage. Yeah.
I'm gonna cap it at like 4 million gold here. I'm trying one more time to increase the cooldown reduction.
You saw my axe though for the shield build, though.
No luck.
Oh, I still need a staff for this guy.
Would you link me for your shield?
That's the one-headed weapon.
Cool weapon.
I was trying out this one and I don't really like it. I don't know. It's not really all that amazing.
We were just talking about that for the new build. So the aspect that gives like 45% of your crit damage as lightning cannot crit, but if you have the proc from that up, it can force it to crit and then apply all your crit damage to it, and that's how they're now hitting for billions.
I see.
Because you have a maxed out Grizzly Rage with like 1000% crit damage bonus, and then if you can force that to crit, it pretty big numbers.
Well, when I read it, it actually kind of didn't. It doesn't read the way it actually. Let me form my thoughts before I tie my tongue up. So a crit is when you hit a target and it rolls for a crit, and it gives you bonus damage, right? It doesn't read that way. It says it guarantees critical strikes, But the way that it's worded, it almost makes it seem like it's not actually giving you a crit. As in, you know, like, hey, I hit something and then it rolled and it gave me a crit. It sounds like it's just giving you the crit damage without actually giving you the crit. Which is probably why it's working on what you're talking about. Because it's not actually guaranteeing a crit. It's just giving you the crit damage, as if you critted. And it seems like you could potentially crit twice, which is how I think it actually would work. So
Yeah.
if you manage to get this as a guaranteed crit, which is not actually guaranteeing a crit, it seems to be just giving you the crit damage, you could potentially crit a second time legitimately, but that particular skill can't. But what I'm saying is a normal skill can crit legitimately, and it might actually stack twice.
Well, right now it's working like the lethal shrine, where it just makes your thing crit. Even stuff that normally isn't able to crit, it's just crit.
I mean, what about the werewolf passive of the lupine ferocity, which guarantees that every 6th werewolf skill will crit no matter what?
Yeah, that also works. Yeah, but you get the 70% damage bonus from that too. Basically, we figured out it's just everything lining up at the exact perfect time to apply to specifically the damage bonus
I
for the
mean,
aspect.
lupine ferocity can be timed. I don't know about waxing gibbous.
No,
Did
but
Ginger even see the clip of the like 2-shot of Lilith?
I don't know. I'd like. I've been less impressed with the big hits lately, and more impressed with like the consistent damage. Like I was playing on my barb, and he couldn't hit over like 250,000 like per strike, but I'll be danged if he wasn't pretty much just one-shotting everything he came across. Like
Oh no, he's doing consistent damage too. He's doing like 20 mil poison ticks, and then he's just 2-shotting
Hmm.
Lilith on top of it.
yeah, like it's like a feedback loop for damage. Like your poison hits hard, and then you're using that poison damage to hit
Quite
harder,
so you then?
which causes higher poison damage. Like it's the Toxic Claws feedback loop.
Yeah, toxic claws is amazing.
So it just keeps hitting harder and harder and harder. And then if you just manage to hit the lottery and everything lines up specifically on this aspect critting, then it just does 1 billion damage.
I mean, that's why this character was just built around toxic claws, because I think toxic claws is amazing. It doesn't specifically say that it has to be, you know, like any specific skill. It's just werewolf skills. And then utilizing things like Tempest Roar turns other skills into werewolf skills, and then before you know it, you're literally dishing out massive amounts of poison damage to whatever targets you're critting. I mean, it seems pretty amazing. That was why I was talking to you yesterday about getting the bonus damage, or the bonus skills to it, so that the base damage would be a lot higher. I mean, getting it to 46% base damage instead of 23% base damage would be a lot of additional damage.
Yeah, like they're both viable. Between that, Toxic Claws and Envenom are comparable. Like Toxic Claws is better technically when you're ramping up your damage. Once it gets rolling, you want just the higher crit bonus.
Mm.
But I mean, like if you get a good anime with either of them, you're good to go.
I mean, that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm trying to find the toxic claws one.
The thing is, we don't think this build is going to survive the nerf patch, because there's no way they're going to let Grizzly Rage get through.
Well, I mean, from what you're explaining, it sounds like what they're going to nerf is they're going to nerf Envenom.
It's not Envenom that's the problem. It's Grizzly Rage.
Yeah.
Every time you crit while the buff is up, you get 10% crit damage, and its cap is currently maxed at 990%.
Well,
Which
it doesn't even say there's a cap.
Yeah, the people just kind of figured out that's what it actually scales to. So it basically just keeps going and going and going, and we're thinking it's probably going to get capped at a very low number.
Well, yeah, they're not going to let that stay. And now that a video came out with them showing 1 billion damage, they just lit lightning fire underneath of it.
I call it the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. You know, they just like Mount Doom. They just the Blizzard Eye is just now fixated. It was on the bar for like the first 2 weeks of the game. Now it's
Well,
moving on.
no. Like at the start of the game when the bar was getting nerfed, they nerfed pulverize specifically. Like they
Yeah,
just
no,
nerfed
I'm
the
just
base skill.
saying this is like a meme at this point. I'm not like
Yeah, I know. But they did try and nerf this. They just nerfed the wrong part of it. They nerfed pulverizes base damage instead of nerfing the Grizzly Rage, which is where the damage is coming from. Like it makes it seem like they don't even know what's going on.
Well, I mean, it's an afterthought, right? Grizzly Rage was probably balanced, but Grizzly
No.
Rage
Aspect.
turned into the werewolf. What is it? What is it called when you turn it into the? Is it just werewolf rage?
No, it's not even the werewolf version. It's just the aspect. The bear version is
Hello?
Yeah, it's just that like they just don't have any clue because we were running this in the endgame beta. And
Well, their calculations are ridiculously complicated. As we were talking about yesterday, their multipliers are weird. Some of them are nested and do small things, and some of them are global and they do massive things. And like the crit damage ones are just like half the time they don't even affect half the calculation. But then the calculation they do affect, the part of the calculation they do affect, can sometimes be massive depending on how you have your character set up. Like
I know, but like when people tell you exactly what the problem is and what to do, and then they just nerf the base skill instead of nerfing the problem.
Yeah, the aspect is the problem.
No, the problem is that guy who was on the dev thing, who had the like ridiculous glasses moment with like the nerd speech where he literally just like nerded out and started talking about like some like math formulas and stuff like that. That's the guy right there who's responsible for this because he left this open in the calculation. I guarantee you he's the one that created this calculation in the first place and then left it open-ended like that, and then now there's a recursive loop inside the calculation which continues to grow in intensity because he was too stupid to fix it. Like that's his whole job, is literally the math formulas and the calculations, and he left this ridiculous loop open.
Well, I don't know how anyone could possibly foresee people critting 99 times within 15 seconds. Like, that's just not going to happen.
We've got too much crit in the game. I've actually already kind of thought that myself, like when I can very easily, I mean easily build over 50% crit, like without even trying. Like it doesn't take a whole lot to get your crit strike chance up to a decent level. Like I'm already sitting at 40% and I'm level 63 and I don't even have optimal equipment. Like I could get 6% more on my gloves. My rings aren't optimal. Like there's a bunch of stuff that's going wrong right now. You can also get crit in other places. They give you aspects that add crit. They literally threw crit everywhere, like a exploded pepper shaker. And it's so easy to hit 100% crit. It's not even funny. Like my necromancer, I think I calculated out his crit chance at one point, like going over all of his abilities. He was sitting at 110.7% crit. Like he was over. I actually had to dial him back a little bit because he was over the 100% mark. Like
Back chunks.
hitting 100% crit should be next to impossible as far as I'm concerned. Like in video games, like yeah, you want to stack crit. I've always stacked crit on many different characters, but like you should never be able to hit 100% crit. That should be just impossible or nearly impossible and require like every ounce of your effort to achieve. But in this game, it's like, yeah, if you don't have 100% crit, you know, you're not a good crit build.
3 minutes to world boss.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm there already. I'll send you an invite, Wes.
Oh, shoot me an invite.
Okay.
I'm gonna come world boss.
Whoopi, I don't care if you call me Wes. It ain't hurting my feelings. Alright.
Our
Yay.
party is full. Sorry, guys.
I'm the Lobby again. Yay! Look at me, I'm a Lobby. Look at me. Oh, speaking of ridiculous abilities that has the ability to balloon out into massive damage. kick on the Barbarian is insane. Like, I can't even explain. Like, it's got, like, some sort of ridiculousness to it. Like, first off, it has a damage when you actually kick the monster. Then it also makes them vulnerable. It knocks the monster back, and then they dish out damage when they come in contact with other monsters along the kicking path. Then they get a third damage when they hit a hard object. So if you kick that person into a group of monsters, or the monster into a group of monsters, you get 1 damage for kicking them, 1 damage for them colliding with the players or the other monsters, another tick of damage when they hit the wall. Then, if they die within 2 seconds and you put that aspect on that makes them explode, they will explode, hitting all the other monsters, which if they were also hit by the kick, because it's a multiplicative thing where literally you can kick multiple monsters, their explosion will trigger the other monsters' explosions, which will trigger more explosions, which will trigger more explosions, and literally, like, with 1 kick, you will literally watch, like, about 10,000 numbers appear on the screen at one time, and it's absolutely stupid insane. Like, especially if you have somebody there who can just, like, gather all the monsters up for you in one big pile, and you kick a pile of monsters into another pile of monsters.
Sounds like Steel Grasp would be a good ability to pair with it.
Oh, what I'm talking about is even more ridiculous than that. Like, say you had a sorceress on one side or a necromancer, they use the corpse tendrils, right? And then I use Steel Grasp on my side, and I kick my pile of monsters into your pile of monsters. The number of explosions that result from that is absolutely insanity. I have gained great respect for the kick ability. I think it's one of the strongest abilities on the Barbarian tree. It's just dumb. It's dumb stupid. I say that for every ability that I find out is ridiculous. And I've also seen some people, I think Leon said somebody hit for like 30 mil with a kick, which was kind of insane. But that's like chump change when you consider the fact that you can literally kick like 100 monsters into 100 more monsters if you line it up right.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna help Woofy, and I'm gonna go eat my pizzas.
Yeah, eat your pizzas.
Oh yeah.
They do no revives left because I kept dying to this stupid cold explosion thing.
I'm sorry. I'll go back in there. If it lets me.
Dang it.
That was too far away.
I just accidentally, I don't know what happened, but he just decided he wanted to walk into the laser. I was like, okay. I don't know why he decided he wanted to walk into the laser all of a sudden.
I wish these guys were more lethal. I mean, or did more than 3 mechanics. Because right now they're just punching bags.
I don't think they're ever not going to be punching bags, but it would be nice if they were a little bit more unique.
Yeah, it's mostly dodge stuff that we put on the ground. Now dodge beam stuff that we put on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every boss and ever in existence, even MMOs with the hardest content. Stand in this puddle.
True.
Don't stand in that
True.
puddle. DPS
Yeah,
this.
move over to this
DPS,
spot.
DPS this ad before it reaches the boss. Move over to this spot. Stand here. Dodge the dragon's breath. Like, it's literally every mechanic in every game can be broken down in a simple move. Like it's the timing of it.
that?
It's how many you're hit with, and the timing is what makes it hard.
Yeah.
There's
And the
just no
damage-
skill to it.
I mean, there's some that have had some ingenious techniques. Like, I remember one for one boss in Lord of the Rings Online. It was the boss basically had a frontal cleave that did a massive amounts of damage, but it was distributed across everybody who was standing in front of the boss. So it was one of the few encounters where we actually had multiple tanks standing in front of the boss, all doing their thing, which was hilarious. Like, that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on
Play
the-
Something
Vindictus.
like that.
I've had a couple really interesting boss fights over my time that had mechanics that were really interesting, like having to kill the boss, like bosses simultaneously. Otherwise, they would just resurrect and you'd have to fight them all over again. Or like one of them was pretty cool. It was like, so each boss had like a mark that they would put on the tank, And like as soon as they put that mark on the tank, like you couldn't fight that boss, or you'd get one shot, and you had to switch to the other boss. So you'd have two tanks, and they would be constantly switching and swapping back and forth between the two monsters over and over again, which was pretty cool. There's a lot of interesting
more
stuff.
Like World of Warcraft, where
Yeah, that sounds
doing
like
a world
wow.
boss. World of Warcraft was an achievement from a group.
That was spicy.
Honestly, I'm not used to the world bosses not being like just the most ridiculously like tanky things on the planet. In Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14, when a world boss showed up, it was literally a world event. Like you would have hundreds, if not thousands, of players there all trying to kill this boss all at the same time, and it was just
Hey,
like,
it's the
insanity.
butcher.
It was insanity.
Oh, great.
Get some, butcher. I'm gonna whoop your butt.
Where is he?
He's over here beating on me.
Okay.
We're having a good time.
Let me go get beat on too.
Ooh, fresh meat. Let me pull him over here. Okay. Dude, you're getting closer to a wall. Are you sure you want to do that?
I didn't even load in yet. It's not fair he killed me before I loaded in. Okay. That's just not cool.
It's a 13 mil.
That's just not cool.
That's what he said.
Just like,
Aw.
I've got a present for you.
I got
These
a
guys
present
might
for
be
you
a little
too.
too high level for me.
97 for a 60? I
They
don't know, you
might
should
be a
able to do
little
this.
too high level for me.
I mean, if you only had your Ramalama Ding Dong on you.
I mean, I don't think it would help this character.
I'm not ready
I
yet.
think Woofy and Chunks were punching up and trying to get through it.
Yeah.
Oh, I even had my earthen wall work up. Stop one-shotting me.
I mean, we weren't. Chunks and I weren't doing too bad at 2 in this.
Yeah, together it's you can knock off several levels, but yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
And like, I wasn't doing too bad until I got to the one
Drop.
of the mini bosses, the keepers, and then he was just. I was a pinata.
I was doing fine. I just DC'd
Yeah.
twice. It said okay. Resetting the router.
Did they ever come out and get
No,
your
I'm
router
debating.
fixed?
They brought me a new one,
Oh, nice.
and my download speed, even though the guy was extremely rude, I told Wolfie about it.
Yeah.
The guy was extremely rude about coming out. He wasn't even gonna give me a box. I told him, like, hey, they told me on the phone I'm getting a new box, so like, I don't care. You give it to me for my own peace of mind. Give me a new box.
I'm not ready yet.
And my download speeds went from like 3 and 4 megs to like 25, 30. I mean, that's still the best I can get here within reason.
I'm not ready.
I'm
I've always-
killing 94.
I've always been
with
kinda
my
like-
crappy gear.
I've always been kind of weirded out by the fact that they won't sometimes give you like the new box. It's like they're like, "Nah, your box is fine. We don't need to change it out." And I'm like, "Well, if it's fine, then you can take the fine one back, give me another fine one, and then that fine one you can give to somebody else." I'm like,
Oh, when I told him, like, you know, the cords, I was like, so you're getting a cable support, right, too? He threw them at me.
"Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, he was extremely rude.
Sounds like you need to
I was like, all right.
need to call the manager.
File a complaint.
File a complaint with the managerial staff."
I got my box and he left. He didn't check to see if it was working. He just like plugged it up and then said, "Okay, there you go." And then he jumped in his van and took off.
Oh,
then
What the? Oh, I thought I died there.
I went to chase him out to do after I was doing the speed test, to tell him like, basically, hey, it worked.
that was
You're
rude.
being a prick.
Yeah. Oh, I have an 815 mace for you. Bought it from the vendor.
Oh,
Well, DC.
Chunks. I actually found a really good two-handed mace for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Got crit, vulnerable, and
I think it had most of the stuff you were looking for. It was pretty high item power, too. I'll have to, after this one, I'll have to hop on my Barbarian real quick and grab it for you.
I was
there,
doing
little
one side
fella.
by myself.
Nice.
That's
He didn't last.
not bad. That's what, 12 levels above
Yeah.
me?
That's good.
And you saw my gear. It's
Yeah.
Guys, man, pure,
it's
I can't do
horrible.
enough
It's
damage.
can be just be ancestral.
I did make a necro. Because I haven't
Even
touched
my
the one
amulet
yet.
doesn't have an aspect on it.
You don't even have good gloves yet.
I kind of really hate this dungeon. It's so spread out and
Where are we?
corridory.
I like
Yeah.
the fact that they drop maces here.
True.
I
I'm
need
not ready yet.
bandits.
You like bandits? Why are you a bandit?
I said I need bandits.
I
What
did not know that you can just
I must wait a
use your
moment.
basic attack and that will trigger the obedience like in
Yep.
the air. I didn't know that. I thought you have to hit something.
For which one?
The 20% damage reduction from basic attack aspect.
Yeah, the might aspect. Yeah, you can just swing in the air.
Not the might, the obedience. And the might as well?
No,
Uh-oh.
the armor doesn't stack unless you're doing damage.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
The
but
might-
the might one you can. I talked about that before. And it has a 6-second cooldown, so you can totally. I mean, a 6-second duration. You can totally just go swipe, pull up
Oh,
your
goodness.
20% damage before you hop in, and then you can just hop in, and then you start with the 20% damage instead of having to hop in and then get it. There's a lot of abilities like that allow you to attack multiple times before you start. Our Clash on the Sorceress has a counter on it, and you can just attack the air for the counter.
Yeah.
There's you gotta check them out and see, but it's really obvious when it happens because you'll see it counting up before you actually, like, you know, get into combat or actually attack it, and you can just hold shift and just swipe the air. Some of them do, some of them don't. Yeah, we were just talking about that Chaos Dragon. The video doing 1 billion damage on with Shred. And, yeah. It's probably not going to last for very long. Hot fix.
I'm not
Yeah,
ready yet.
like the mechanics behind it will probably still exist. It's just they're probably going to be capping Grizzly.
Well,
Rage
it's
damage.
Goer's Devastating Grips all over again. Goer's Devastating Grips just scaled infinitely, so if you just kept on hitting things, if you just kept on, you know, stacking the buff, you could essentially scale the damage infinitely, and that's the same thing. You're basically just scaling the damage infinitely back and forth.
Well, the other thing they could change is the stuff that's not supposed to crit. They'll make it so it can't possibly crit, even if you have 100% crit.
Oof. Oof. Poison is.
Alright, I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna go get some pizza.
Yeah, thanks for the help.
Yeah, go eat some pizza.
I made a necro,
There is an event
but he's
here.
only level 6.
Honestly, I want the biggest thing from this patch, the July 18th patch. I want it to be quality of life fixes.
HellTide just started.
As many quality of life fixes as they can possibly give us, please.
I want it to be a stash space.
That's one of them. That's one of the quality of life fixes.
I just don't understand why they're so secretive about it. Like, just say what you guys are planning on doing. Like, you still
That's
haven't
the
come up with a
annoying
plan.
part. You're right. That's the annoying part.
Say what you need to say.
It's been like 1 month now of them just being like, "We hear you. We're discussing it." It's like, so you haven't come up with an action plan by now?
No.
Maybe they don't have an. Maybe it is very hard to fix that we think it's not. Maybe it's gonna take a lot of like server space, and that's why.
It doesn't. Like,
It's
it
text
really
to the
doesn't.
Database.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
What
literally
is-
just like text on a file somewhere. Like it's for them. I mean, over millions of accounts, yeah, it's going to take up some space. But like when it comes to text files have amazing compression algorithms. Like you can basically compress a text file like to Hesmana and back.
Not to mention, it's Blizzard. They literally made $1 billion off this game probably already, and they have infinite resources. And other small indie companies manage to do this. You can have infinite stash tabs in PoE, for example. They're just like, come on.
Like-
Their highest amount a year they made, I think, was like 30 mil for the whole year. That company, and they can manage to do it. So you tell me, like, what's the market cap of Blizzard Activision? Like billions? Can't come up with storage and servers? Come on.
They're just
There must be a reason. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I
They're
don't-
just secretive for no reason.
I think that they really just thought we wouldn't need a personal stash tab. Like, for some reason or another, I just think they thought they could get away with not giving the characters individual personal stash tabs. And I don't know what world they came from because it's really stupid, but
why is there a thing pinging on my map?
There's a Legion event, he said.
The Gathering Legions at 5 minutes. Yeah. HellTide is up though.
Yes, yes, I'll take it.
alright, let me go get your hammer real quick, Chunks. I think you might like this one. What's the item power on your hammer right now?
786.
Yeah, well, this is a hell of a lot better than what you've got. At least the
Yeah.
item power, but the
Core
stats
skill,
weren't bad.
strength, and vulnerable. And slow. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this is way better than yours.
2397 upgraded 5 times.
Yeah, here it is right here. And tell me if you want this one.
Sosu, did you still want to join us?
I'm doing HellTides now. If you're
Okay.
doing that.
That's what I'm doing, yep. I'll send you an invite because I'm still with a couple guys here. Got a kill queue.
You can hit chat there.
Yeah, I'll try to roll that.
Alright.
Man,
There we-
honestly, 813 is a hell of a lot better than what you got. And it's not like the best rolls, but it does have everything
I am
you're
not
looking
dying
for.
from anything. I'm dying from poison.
And you can re-roll the injured for try and get your vulnerable. Alright, where are you at? Let me come throw it. Let me come throw it in your lap.
I'm at the. I'm walking over to the stash. I'm in the room in front of it in Geek Hole.
Shame that Legion event isn't in the HellTide.
Yeah, that's worth like 200 cinders. I found Kickstarth, but it's like a million cliff lines away from me.
There you go, Chunks. All yours.
Thank you.
Now back to my wolf.
Try to roll that.
Oh, I got a guy over here.
Back to my wolf ham. Wolfie, 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 guy and Juicy.
Oh,
I found that hammer yesterday, and I thought of you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Now I just need to find myself a really good two-handed staff.
there's a world event over here. We can
I need
do.
a staff. I need like a 820 staff. Something with some good modifiers on it.
Weird.
There's no Staff of Kings.
Yes, a staff of kings. The staff of kings. This character's not set up all the way, unfortunately. Just he's getting there eventually. Alright, what do we got?
Guess we'll ride around.
Like the monster density down south here, but the pathing to events is terrible.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
I have no idea how am I surviving this.
I can't remember if I was able to maintain Fortify on this character or not. I think the werewolf has a little bit harder time with fortify than the bear in the human shape.
Are you shape shifting? Like, are you permanently werewolf?
Pretty much permanently werewolf.
So the shape shifting one wouldn't help you. You could use the spirit boon bolster. Do you have a defensive skill on your bar?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the primary way I've been doing things. Is I'm using Earthen Bulwark. So I'm basically just spamming Earthen Bulwark repeatedly. I think.
Yeah, you can add in bolster on the spirit boon. That will give you another 10% before scaling with fortified generation. You could also.
I have to check see where that is. Man,
You
sorry, I'm
could-
fighting a HellTide boss at the moment.
Yeah. There's also passives like the Barbarian where you just generate fortify if you take damage.
You're not in the party, Ginger?
Well, I switched back to my werewolf. You wanna re-invite me?
Yep. I'm on it.
Which part of the tree is that on? Because I might have to give something up, and I don't want to.
Which one do you want to check? The one I just mentioned with the when you take damage, or which one?
Yeah.
The when you take damage one is at the bottom where the ultimates are, to the right. There's like 4 fortify related nodes, defensive nodes.
Oh, I meant in the spirit boons. You said there was one in the spirit boons.
The spirit boons is the third one, the wolf I think it is, the third one,
Yeah,
and it's
third
3.
tier.
Third tier, 3 over.
Yeah, I can't do that because I'm using the pack leader one, which is that's how I'm getting my resets on my poison creeper and my ravens.
You could attune with that spirit if you wanted, and you can choose 2 from that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that. Let me see. The one that I'm currently attuning with is
teleport.
The the stag.
Okay.
And that's for the attack speed. I guess, you know what, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, just take attack speed. That crit damage is not multiplicative, even though it says it is.
Which one? The crit? I thought it was crit chance.
There's 2 on that row. There's crit chance and crit damage. There's 2 different
Yeah,
ones.
I took the crit chance. I wasn't so interested in the critical strike damage.
Yeah, that is one of the ones that lies to you. It isn't actually multiplicative.
So
Well, it's probably
now-
probably nested like the other ones, right? The ones that are only multiplying certain things.
No, it's just regular crit chance, but it displays it as if it was multiplicative on your crit damage.
Okay, well, can I change it here? No, I have to go back to the place to change it, don't I? I have to go to the
Yes.
statues and I have to change
Yes.
the statues from there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Choose.
that sucks, but yeah.
is 120 strength on the hammer with crit damage and core better than
Been vulnerable?
than the 66% vulnerable I'm gonna lose?
I think the vulnerable is better. It's hard because I think that main stat, your main strength stat, is important, but you have to look at actually like how much 122 strength is actually giving you, and I don't think it actually equals up to the same amount as your vulnerable damage. Like 60% vulnerable damage is going to exceed like 2 or 3% more skill damage.
How much vulnerable uptime do you have?
I got a low
Sean
roll of
Burnby.
vulnerable damage.
What's
Yeah,
up, Sean? Thanks for the $2, man.
There, I
That's a lot.
think.
I was
Like-
thinking about Druid. That's actually why I'm playing the Druid right now.
I mean, everyone's gonna be playing Druid in Season 1.
Well, I think
I was
that
actually thinking of Druid too.
I honestly think the Poison Creeper and the Ravens are like among the easiest ways to get like a solid character started. It's basically permanent vulnerability uptime. The Poison Creeper is amazing for damage output. You can reset them over and over again, like just with the Spirit Boons, so you don't need anything else.
It took a lot to break that 17 damage meme.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was Hurricane though. Like, wasn't it Hurricane that was doing the 17 damage?
Yes.
Yeah, but it was a powerful meme.
I didn't follow along with it. I was like, because I played Druid back in the beta, and I was doing a lot more damage than that.
I'm not ready.
I know everyone that actually played Druid know it was pretty good.
Hey, there's the ball lightning rotator.
I got a boss up here.
Yeah, I'm on my way. There's a bunch of monsters just down and around the corner.
You want to do HellTides or you want to continue the dungeons?
We can do HellTide. I know you're looking for that helm.
I'm not ready.
Of course, my inventory has to be full. I don't even think doubling the inventory in this game would help. the
No,
inventory time.
we've already said that.
I must wait.
That's just
e-
like a
even-
relief step. That's
Well-
like a
Yeah.
4 additional shared tabs would just multiply the issue later on down the road. Like it was just
Yeah,
must
delay
wait.
the inevitable.
That's why I've been saying they need an action plan with multiple stages. Like for instance, the codex thing we've been talking about, like moving the aspects into their own codex thing. I understand that requires coding, that requires time, that requires testing.
Yeah.
That could be a month, 2 months, or more, whatever it can be. But adding stash tabs is instant relief. It's not a permanent fix, but it's like
The-
a stage.
But the fact that we don't
Yeah.
already have more stash tabs right now makes me think that they're not going to add any.
I must wait a
Yeah.
moment.
Like you know how that whole how everybody made a big deal about them not having the overlay map, and then they double down and were like, we feel that not having an overlay map is what. Like I feel like we're in that same boat right now. Like they were like 4 stash tabs and no more, and they're like never gonna add more than 4 stash tabs, and we're just gonna only have 4 stash tabs for the rest of the game, and they're gonna try and find other ways to mitigate the issues, but they're never gonna give us more stash tabs.
Well, it's not. It's like really easy for them to do. They just refuse to do it, and they've done it for every Diablo game so far.
But my
Like-
thing is me and Leon and like the rest of us, like we've literally come up with ideas. We've literally come up with ideas that would solve the entire problem already. Like we already solved it
they
for
don't
them.
want to solve this problem.
We already solved it for them.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
They do not want to solve it. They just like those people are complaining too much. It's not an issue. Let them suck eggs. That's what
Holy
I think is going on.
I got an event over here so soon.
Yep, I finally did find the Ramalotni's Magnum Opus. And then I went ahead and made a unique item video for it right when I found it.
I watched
I
that
must
today.
wait a moment.
Like I found it.
Now,
Yeah, that's the kind of character, by the way, that I'm not gonna make on a latter season launch. I'm not gonna make a character that's dependent on finding specific unique items. I think that this wolf is perfectly capable of being created without any of those special unique items. You don't need the helmet, you don't need the armor, you don't need the staff. Like you can totally make this one kill everything and do perfectly fine without it. And then if you do happen to find it, then you can swap things out a little bit and utilize it, but you don't need it.
Yeah, druids have a lot of builds that are viable without uniques. You just have the strongest ones being locked
I
behind them.
must wait a moment.
Honestly, I'm really considering to see how strong a companion build is because, like, I think the companions are amazing. I don't know if I necessarily want to run the wolves, but the poison creeper and the frickin' ravens are just ridiculous.
Wolves are pretty good now defensively because they quadrupled the fortify uptime on them.
They generate
And-
fortify. I was looking at that too, and I wanted to see if I could maybe squeeze that in somehow. I was
And,
actually thinking about taking out rabies and then basically using them to spread the rabies, but I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't know if they actually use rabies or if they're just spreading my rabies, and it got a little confusing. I need to do some more testing. The way that it's worded, it makes it sound like they're spreading my rabies.
I think that's the way I read it too. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy test. You just let them attack mobs and see if they put rabies on them.
And I
like
think
poison ivy.
I think I did for a little bit. I didn't do like a conclusive test, but I didn't see any monsters turning green. And like so unfortunately that means I can't take rabies off the bar and let them do it if they're not going to cast it.
Correct.
I must wait a moment.
where did he go?
I like this content. I can actually contribute here.
Yeah, I like how the HellTide scales
I'm not
to your
ready
level.
yet.
Oh,
Play a few groups.
freaking multiple bosses spawning at the same time. Got my butt handed to me.
Wolfie, did you just say you like scaling? Get out
In
of here.
some
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
scenarios.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, this game is all scaling besides Nightmare Dungeon, so.
Let's be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. Like, scaling wouldn't even really be needed if they didn't have such strict level penalties. Like, if it wasn't literally so bad that literally fighting a monster 10 levels in yourself was, like, insanity. Like, unless you're, like, really well geared. Like, it wouldn't even be that big of an issue. We could, like, you could have groups that were, like, 10, 20 levels apart and actually still have fun together. But the level penalties make it, like, next to impossible for the lower levels to play with the higher levels.
I must wait a moment.
Yep. I'm looking forward to the season reset. Playing with people that are all the same level for at least a couple days.
All your stashes will be empty for 5 minutes.
Speaking of the reset, so we're probably going to have a group of people that are going to be pushing to 100 as quickly as possible. I would assume that the best way to do this would not be to go with a 4-man. So I think a 4-man is probably a bad idea. I think we're probably looking at something more like a 12-man. And the reason why we're looking at like a 12-man is because there's no guarantee that the other 3 people are going to be online at all times. At least with an 8-man in Diablo 2, like, you know, even if 4 of the other people weren't online, you still had 4 other people to grind with, right? But if 2 people of your 4-man team are not online at that particular moment, now it's just 2 of you, and like, so what I'm thinking is we form a group of 12 basically, and then all those 12 people can push together and play together anytime they're online. Hopefully, you know, if you have everybody online, then you've got 3 groups of 4, which is fine. And then we can split the groups as necessary. So like, say if we have an odd number of people on, like 7 or something like that, you know, or whatever, we'll split it into, you know, two equal groups or 3 equal groups or whatever we've got to do. We'll find a way to make it work. But it's going to work a hell of a lot better than just having a group of 4 and then people not being there. Like, so then you're just grinding by yourself, basically.
I didn't know this way.
The most important thing is having groups of people around the same level, so you can do efficient dungeon levels.
Which is basically what I'm talking about. Like, these 12 people would try and all stay within the same level of each other, so we can do efficient leveling, so that nobody's getting left behind in that group.
Well, that's always going to happen. You just have to make parties of people around, like, say,
their
like
play
70.
schedule, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like 70.
and here's the thing: is even if it did happen, even if certain people got left behind, if you have a group of 12, you might have a couple people that get left behind together, and then they would form their own group. So you know, you'd like if they get 10 levels behind everybody else, they would just all group up together and start catching up. I mean, you could also power level, but dragging people behind you is going to slow things down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, once we get Sork, like, if we're running Sorks and Druids, like, you can carry people that are, say, 10 levels behind, and it doesn't really affect you. But, like, we just need people advertising what group level ranges they're running. Like, say, there's a group of people, like, around level 75. You try and get them all together, and just have them update in chat whenever they need someone to join.
Well, there's also people with different goals and different, like, seriousness, for lack of a better word. Like, I have people message me saying that they're ready to go, they're taking off work, they want to blast, they want to play with me, whatever. You know, and then you have people that work and they're going to play like 5 hours on launch day, and then they're going to work, or they're, you know, going to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, you have different types of people, so.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting though if we were all druids and we could share equipment with each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's a druid. We can do it.
I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, everybody would get druid equipment, and then, like, say one of us is a werewolf, and one of us is a bear, and one of us is a storm druid. Like we literally could just look out for equipment for the other person, and before you know
it's really strong.
Everybody would be fully geared out really quickly.
It's kind of crazy.
I mean, even if you're just all druids and you just shop the vendors, if someone's lightning, oh, buy that for them.
I'm not ready yet.
And then again, because of this whole sea level thing, it's going to be very difficult for the higher groups to share gear down because of this. So if we're all around the same level, again, like, this is going to make things easier because we're going to be able to share equipment with each other. Even if we're only a couple levels apart, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you'll still be able to share equipment.
I don't have enough.
They're not planning to fix that sea level thing before this.
I freaking hope they do, because it is just terrible, and it just makes sharing stuff from... It basically punishes you for being a high-level character.
I must wait a moment.
It's another thing
And
that
it
they do.
kills the trading
Like,
economy too.
I know that Leon has found items, like, when I think he was, like, one of the first people to 100, right? So when he was finding items that with his level 100 Barbarian, and he's like, this would be really good for and then he's like, oh, never mind. It's level 100 requirement.
Yeah, I found so many swords. Like, I had an 836 sword next to my 837 that I could have just given someone, but no one was level 100 to get it. That's just one example of many.
Yeah, I think I still have a sword that Ginger gave me that I can't wear yet because I'm not level 94.
Baxter Olson, I'm down for join the 12-man push group. Grats on the ding dong. I was hyped seeing that video on my feed. That's right. Grats on the ding dong. That's right. I hunted for like 20 some odd hours for that ding dong.
My candle joins.
The complaints people had for hardcore too is, say your character dies, well, I have all this gear, but I can't use it until I get like level 90.
That's funny.
I mean, honestly, and that comes back to stash base. Like in hardcore, you're not gonna want to just hold on to the good gear. You're gonna want to hold on to like low level gear.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, oh, this is my like like in Diablo 2, you'd find like a really good shield, and it would be like level 6, and it would have like all res and like faster blocking, and like you look at the shield and you're like, man, this is like the god shield for like a level 6 character, and you would and then you would hold on to that shield. Like you're gonna have to do that in this game. You're gonna have to, as you're leveling up, you're just gonna have to be like, okay, this is a really good item for a low level character. I'm just gonna have to hold on to this.
Yeah.
It kind of
You're supposed to store that in your inventory tension.
like it kind of makes me want to do the campaign, even though like we're not. But like you can get that level 45 Mother's Embrace for free, which is actually pretty powerful on certain builds. And then that 45 Mother's Embrace can basically follow every single character that you have. Like,
I fully expect us to have a ton of uniques the first night. I fully expect us to jump into Nightmare World Tier 3 or whatever.
oh yeah, we're gonna hit World Tier 3 really quick.
It's gonna be crazy.
We're
And
gonna
the power we're starting with too, Ginger, with the skill points and the plus the potions and all that. The renown we're starting with.
I mean, we could always do a dry run and like just play around with it.
Yeah,
Get a bunch of low-level characters, skip the campaign, and then just like see how fast we can level up.
So my plan is to like take maybe a couple days off. I'm gonna finally play Street Fighter 6, which I haven't played, before the 18th patch. And then when the 18th patch hits, I'm gonna play those 2 days and like do some practice leveling, look at all the changes, look at like the new aspects, and like do some prep work those 2 days, and then I'll be ready to go. I'll take like a couple days off, not burn myself out, because I've been playing this game nonstop.
Yes,
and then go from there.
Like,
we know where a chest is.
Yeah, there's one right.
And thank you for the $10,
right
Baxter.
here.
Where's your pen?
I don't know if I said that, but
Blue pin.
we're deep in conversation.
Blue pen?
mine should be for one of them, but we have like 4 minutes for that.
Yeah, I need to open up
the
one of
right
the
area.
mystery chests.
I think that's the right area. Yeah, that's the right area. Yeah, that's one there. There's also one up
I'm not
here,
ready
Trunk,
yet.
closer to you, where Sosu's pin is. Go to Sosu's pin.
What
This
color
zone
is
has
that?
3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that real quick before I forget.
Color
There's
Sure.
all
Yeah,
pins on it, just to the right of you.
Okay.
I've got enough for one.
I just fell in love with this tornado druid.
Tail.
Oh, it's I mean, the druid's got a lot of fun builds. I think you're gonna freaking like the druid.
Yeah, but like right now, I'm like, should I just stop playing it now so I don't spoil myself for the season? It's like,
You know, I knew that I'm gonna like the Wind Druid even before I just started the Pulverize, because I just kept finding items, and I found the helm, and I found
That's
unique
that's one
vest.
thing. That's one thing about leveling up a new character that is knowledge that we have now that we didn't before. Is there are items, I swear. Like certain characters just have certain legendary affixes and items that just drop more than others, and it is so easy to build those
Yes.
characters.
Wait a moment.
Well, while other characters are literally just like, oh, okay, well, like, yeah, I don't have that. Like, I'm probably not gonna have that. It's gonna take me a while.
you should, if you care at all about like, you know, quote unquote success for the season start, you should probably pick a build that has codex powers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Codex
start with.
increases are going to be pretty big for it.
I'm kind of hoping Ginger's going to do his Pokemon video. For the
My
ladder start.
Pokemon videos? Oh man.
The I choose you.
That
This
was
is
a-
why
that-
this is a good ladder start.
That was a hilarious series, okay?
It was excellent. I loved it. I think this Diablo 4 needs a how to start your ladder right kind of video. And I think that was
Ginger
Yeah,
could make one.
I'm going to be gearing up for ladder videos soon. I'm just being lazy about it. I was trying to get my Ramalama Ding Dong, okay?
You got it now.
I'll probably
Not a
end
bad
up
one
I'll
either.
probably end up starting making videos like tomorrow.
What the
or
heck is
something, I don't
on-
know.
Are you guys joking about the name, or that's the name of the thing?
Yes, it's
Just-
we've been joking about the name since the very beginning. Yes.
The exact name.
that's the exact name.
It's a ding dong.
Word for word,
There you
letter for
go.
letter, exact name.
So Ramaladni's magnum opus is actually named
There you
after
go.
some developer that died. I actually learned this. Apparently it's reversed. Apparently the word is just reversed. That's why it's a name that doesn't make any sense, because it's a real name that's been reversed. So if you turn it around, it actually says his real name, and it's apparently some developer that was for World of Warcraft that that is no longer with us.
Yeah, it's the warrior from Classic WoW that broke the class and then became a
There's
dev.
an event on me here.
yeah.
We mean no offense when we call it the ding dong. It's
Oh, of
just
course not. Yeah.
just a joke.
Oh,
Everyone-
I wasn't saying it was, and I still say Ramalama Ding Dong. But it just I can't remember his name. It's like if you type in Ramaladni's and you type it in backwards.
Well, it's a warrior named Elim.
So if you
Ar-
type it in backwards, it's Indalamar or something like that. It's obviously he's I think what Indian descent probably.
No, it was just the name of his warrior.
Oh, that was the name of his warrior in the game. Okay.
Yeah, in WoW.
It's,
yeah.
oh, it's not even that bad anymore. The ding dong.
So now we're just making fun of his character. So,
Yeah.
haha.
Makes it much better.
But basically, it was back then like warriors were just garbage, and he found a way to make them actually be the best class in the game. And then he eventually became a dev.
The new chest. Oh, this one over here. You can catch a stain.
Oh, Kickstarter is on me.
No way.
Yeah, I'll wait for you. He's not aggroed yet. I'm watching
Are
him.
you Sosu?
Like, let me finish
Oh no,
this
you guys are. There's two
event.
groups in here. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Oh no, he just despawned. should've attacked him.
What?
I got an event up.
Did I teleport to you or no?
No, he despawned.
What?
I should have engaged him.
What? That's rude.
The problem is you would have killed him before
Yeah, well,
I joined you.
yeah, I was
Someone
trying.
would have got it.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
I was thinking about the party. Next time I think about myself.
Greed. Gotta go for greed.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna one-shot him.
Well,
You could have just tickled.
He melts
You could have
him.
just tickled. You could have just tickled his underside.
Should have you hit him with your basic attacks
True.
and just dance around.
I'll be back.
Could have just tickled him.
Okay.
I could have tickled his. Never
I
mind.
must wait a
Is my
You could have
is my
volcanized
mic
his
still
anus.
making
What?
the sound from yesterday, Ginger?
Are we getting the fire
hear
druid in
anything.
the first expansion?
I'm not ready yet.
Now we're getting that Blood Knight thing, right? That's
Oh,
coming
no.
for the season.
Oh no.
Diablo Immortal.
We're getting
Best
Belmont.
game in the
Belmont's gonna get
series.
added.
I must wait a minute.
Exactly.
You know, it was funny. Quite a few people actually did think that was getting added to Diablo 4. They were like, I quit. They were upset. They did not want that in Diablo 4.
I'm not ready yet.
I don't really know how vampires made it into the Diablo franchise anyway. Like, I don't remember there ever being vampires in the Diablo franchise.
What do you mean?
Oh.
Me too.
Hmm?
The
Isn't the
Bloodborne-
necro? Yeah, the necro set or whatever it was.
I mean, that's a ghoul though. That's not a vampire.
I must wait
That was
They steal health.
I mean, the ghouls are like not like the traditional kind of vampire, like, and then somehow like they just added in like traditional vampires and just did. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah.
There was an event here. What happened? Went away.
I'm not ready yet.
Welcome to
Oh,
the area that has the events right next to each other. There's just a little tunnel between the two of them.
I just got a failed Staff of the Crown.
I must wait a
Unfortunate.
moment.
What, a sacred?
No, it's just a legendary. I'm pretending that the chest should have gave me a staff, but it just gave me
I'm not ready.
legendary so unique, E2 failure.
So there's actually 3 mystery chests for this for the last half an hour here.
3 instead of 2?
Ready yet.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
one
'cause
has
it's three
3.
zones.
This one has 3. Yeah.
Shoot.
So you can get 6 if you get here on time.
Yeah. If you go right by the corrupted grotto, the one that's just north of the Gia, that big town down there, there's two events. There's 2 events that you just bounce back and forth between and get all your senders extremely quick.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
I got my freaking whole brain wrapped around the Barbarian at this point. I can't even like remember how my character works.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I was smart enough to just like it's something I've always done across all characters is I basically assign certain buttons to like specific abilities. So yeah, I got like main ability, sub ability, you got like defensive cooldown, like thing that you spam all the time button. And I always put the buttons in the same place so that even when I'm on a character that I don't even know how they work, as long as I'm pressing the buttons in the right order, like literally like oh yep, defensive cooldown, spam that defensive cooldown.
That was very
just
similar.
Just keep them in the right positions, and you.
I started with that with MMOs. Like I'd always have my interrupt button for every class. It'd always be the same keybind, and then the defensive cooldown button, all that kind of stuff. It makes sense.
Dude, MMOs were crazy for me. Like I remember my captain on Lord of the Rings Online. Like you know how you could have multiple bars in
Yeah.
MMOs.
Yeah.
My boy had 5 full bars. 5 full bars of buttons to press. I had like it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it was like Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Control.
like Control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Alt Shift Control.
Yeah.
Like
And then you buy a macro keyboard.
like I was like a pianist when I was in PvP, like literally just like
I played
freaking my
Druid.
pinky would hit the control key all the time, and that jank always hurt. Like after like a couple hours of gameplay, my pinky would be all like worn out.
I played a Druid. Wow, I had like 6 different hotkey bars, and then I also had different bars for different forms.
Yeah, different
Crazy.
bars for different forms, which all clone to the first bar. So you hit the extra bars, which clone to the first bar.
I even had ones that were just on the side, like I had like a whole nother bar on the side that they weren't even hotkeyed. They were just like things that I had to click on because I ran out of
Occasionally.
buttons.
There's a chest here?
There's a mystery chest there.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
need-
Anyone else need to pop up here for this one?
I just died, so I lost my freaking
I
cinders.
must wait a moment.
Freaking splody
5
dude
more
got me.
levels.
I'm not ready yet.
There's any I don't think there is any event here.
Yeah, north and like far south are pretty good, but in the middle is pretty bad. I was just there for a while opening chests. I was going for 2-hand chests. And then there was Kickstart, who I let live And I won't make that mistake again.
Well,
Am I ever going back to D2? Yeah, when the new season hits, I'll probably hop back on for the new season.
I saw Sweet Phil has 2 channels now for D4 and D2. Keeping it separate.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Don't tie your channel name to one game.
Yeah, I wonder why he chose to do it.
Decision.
I know a lot of people do that, especially for like clips things. But
Honestly, there's a vocal minority for the Diablo 2 crowd, which are so like ridiculously negative about anything that's not Diablo 2 that it's starting to make me not like Diablo 2. And I like Diablo 2, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. But the vocal minority that is just like extremely negative about anything that isn't like directly related to Diablo 2 is very tiring.
I'm gonna try not to compare this to Diablo 2.
And that's probably
Diablo 2?
And that's probably what Sweet Phil's looking at right now, is he probably literally was playing Diablo 4 and then went to his comment section and got, you're terrible, why are you playing that awful game? Your mom's a hoe and I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna stab you in the eye because you played Diablo 4. And like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, not even exaggerating.
Like, unless you're an established creator for like multiple genres, like you cannot have a split content on your channel.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, people are so tied to what you play, and they're like, "You're my Diablo 2 guy. Don't do anything else."
But I have literally like over 2,000 videos on my channel for Diablo 2. Like literally over 2,000 videos for Diablo 2. But that's not enough. I need more. I need more. 2,000 plus isn't enough. I need more.
But I mean, it's also in his best interest to keep them separated, to keep the streams.
I don't see it. I see some people make those separate channels, and the separate channels just fail. And it's not because the separate channel fails; it's because they separated the channels. Like if they didn't separate the channel and they kept their audience the same, like it'd be fine. But what happens is you separate the channel, and then somehow like all the viewers that would really like to see that content somehow don't find that other channel. Like you don't always get the exposure that you want. So like making a separate channel can sometimes just end in disappointment because the getting people to actually go over and subscribe to the other channel is very difficult. Because you might have, say, you know, let's just I think it feels like it's 60,000 subscribers or something. Out of 60,000 people, let's say on average, you know, maybe like 1,000 of those are active at any given time, right? And then you make a post saying you've got this extra channel, and like out of those 60,000, say maybe 40,000 of those people would be interested in the second channel, but they're not going to see it. Like maybe 1,000 of those people are going to see the post, and then over the next couple days you might get like 3,000 or 4,000 people will see the post. And how many of those 3,000 or 4,000 are going to click the link and actually go over there and check it out? And it ends up being a lot fewer than you would think, like a lot fewer, to the point where literally the second channel will literally almost like starve to death.
And what does that do with the algorithm on top of it? Like, are they even a poster videos to people? Like
exactly, and then on top,
brand new?
yes, and on top of that, the algorithm tends to not favor your content because now you're on a new channel. Unless you're somebody like Mr. Beast or something, and you can like leverage thousands and thousands and millions of people like to come over and check out your new channel. You're not gonna get that second channel to blossom like it is, you know, like your first one does. I mean, it took me 2 years to get my channel to this point. Like, even if I put a call to arms out and said, hey, everybody come over and subscribe to this second channel, it doesn't work. I've tried it. Like, I've literally tried it before.
I'm not ready.
Well, I think channels like that works better for shorts. Like, then you're not competing for impressions with your main content.
I mean, I thought about that too, but I don't know.
But again, you need enough visibility for the shorts. for that channel to take off too.
I feel like it's at a certain point you need a viewer base that's large enough to make that.
Yeah, you need to have that critical mass.
You've gotta hit like Asmongold numbers at that point, and then you can make your like main Asmongold channel, and you can have your like Asmongold TV and like all the other crazy stuff. And you can have like 3 or 4 channels at that point because you're established. But I just at my level, making a second channel would just be suicide for whatever content I put on that second channel.
I must wait a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Phil's a little bit larger than I am, so maybe he can pull it off. You know, more power to you, Phil, if you're watching. But I'm not going to now. The only thing that you're gonna get for me, and I considered this, is I'll put the Diablo 4 logo on the Diablo 4 videos, and I'll put the Diablo 2 logo on the Diablo 2 videos. That's about all you're gonna get from me. I'm sorry. That way you'd be like, oh, that's a Diablo 4 video, I don't want to watch that one. Or I'm like, oh, that's a Diablo 2 video, I don't want to watch that one.
Well, at least make them like visually distinct, yeah, so people can tell instantly what content is for.
Yeah. Just something so it's easy to grab and go, hey, I want this one.
Honestly, though, at this point, I can't really see why Sweet Phil's doing it, because I'm still getting very limited views on my Diablo 2 content. I've still been putting out Diablo 2 content this entire time. For those of you who are unaware, I've literally put out a Diablo 2 video every single day since the launch of Diablo 4. Every single day. And some of them are failing to even hit 1,000 views. Like, they literally won't even hit 1,000 views. Like, you guys are basically showing me that you don't want the Diablo 2 content anymore. Like, because they're not getting as soon as Diablo 4 launched, the Diablo 2 content is not getting the views anymore. And even Sweet Phil said the same thing. I heard Sweet Phil say it. He's like, yeah, I tried to put out a Diablo 2 video the other day, and it got, like, nothing. It was like bubkiss. Nothing.
Well,
I'm wait for this honeymoon period to end.
Well, it's partly YouTube, too. Like, just the Diablo in general is pushing
Right.
D4.
Yeah, the algorithm. Yep.
Like, I'm not getting anything for D2 in my feed. It's always D4.
Yeah, that too.
And then I get the nastiest comments on the D2 videos, too. Like, you guys are mean. Like, what was it one guy, he just comments, he's like, no one watches D2 content anymore. He goes, what are you doing? You're an idiot. And then, like, another guy, he's like, you know D4's out, right?
That's one of the guys that had to actively search for it, too.
I'm not ready yet.
He's just doing that to
Hey,
everybody.
Go find this D2 video so I can comment about nobody watching it, but I was watching it. To leave this comment. Those people make no sense.
I'm not ready.
I mean, I still have a bunch of D2 content that I want to make, by the way. Like, I'm not done with Diablo 2. So, I definitely want to finish my solo Cellfound series. It's not going to be right away, but it will be eventually. So, I want to do all of the characters. I wanted to have at least one of every single character in the solo Cellfound, basically. So,
But
right now I don't have them all.
P7 though. You made the last one P8, I think.
Always, yeah. My
Right.
solo Cellfounds are always P8.
I don't know. It just takes too long though.
Time to do
That's the point. It's difficult.
Yeah, that's the point. I did, like, P8 only, Boson, no rumors, physical only.
I need time to do that.
Took forever.
The thing is that I'm at, and I'm not trying to be cocky, Lily, but I'm at the point where I know so much about the game that the game is easy. If I did it on P1, it wouldn't even be a challenge for me. Like, it wouldn't even be, like, remotely a challenge. So, the reason why I'm doing it on P8, solo Cellfound, is literally that the entire purpose is to make it into a challenge. Like, otherwise, I'll just breeze right through it, like Mr. Llama style. I'll be finished in, like, 4 hours, and people will be like, we want content.
I need
Oh,
time
welcome
to
to the HellTide Commander. Thanks for killing him.
I even added extra rules in there. Like, I literally added extra rules into the solo Cellfound to make it even more difficult.
time to do that.
I know. You made it like really hard.
That's the point.
I must wait a moment.
No. Yeah.
Honestly, the point of those runs is to test my knowledge. That's the point of those runs. It's like you know, putting MacGyver in a survival situation, and you're like, let's see how MacGyver gets out of this one. Like literally, like it's if I can't test my knowledge to see like what I can do, then I mean anybody can just throw a grief on a character and have a working character. But you watch me put together a character with garbage. Like I got a paperclip, a toothpick, and a rubber band, and all of a sudden, like I'm killing Hell Bale, and you guys are like, how did he even do that? And it's fun. It's really fun to kill. Like on my Barbarian run, I was using an upgraded steel driver. Like nobody would have picked that for their freaking Barbarian run. Nobody would have picked the upgraded steel driver. You would have picked something a lot better than that.
Use what you find.
But honestly, it carried me pretty much. I was excited. I found the steel driver. I upgraded that thing, socketed it. I used that for quite some time until I finally got my other weapon. I don't know if Llama would ever do like a P8 run through. I feel like he's so addicted to speed, and P8 run throughs are not fast. It's difficult. It takes farming. You gotta like actually build up equipment and gear, like. And even if he did, I feel like he'd just cheat and just pick the easiest build that you could possibly pick for like P8.
I'm not hammered in. Look at me, I made it.
Pretty much.
My bags are full.
Let's go back to town real quick and sell off some of his junk.
Duck smash. Okay, I need 20 more.
I'm not ready
This
yet.
chest here. The chest, right? Come on, don't freeze, don't freeze, don't
This
freeze.
lightning storm critical strike spawned 3 dancing bolts that seek enemies in an area. Seems pretty interesting.
It does. I just don't know what to do with it. Even with
I think my preferred main city is Karagar in this game. Because everything's so compact and close together.
All things have value, I suppose.
Except for the stash.
my best.
The stash
my
is a little bit out of the way, but eh.
My go-to town between runs is actually the Tree of Whisper.
Yeah.
Tree of Whisper is awesome.
Yeah, it's got a stash, a blacksmith, and a
And a
vendor.
jeweler.
So.
And also a weapon person, I think. A weapon
No,
vendor.
Did they add
Yeah,
a weapon vendor down there?
No, Joey, a vendor, and a blacksmith.
Yeah, a vendor. They have a vendor there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but not a
Joey vendor, not weapons.
not a
Not a
weapons
weapon?
vendor.
There you go.
It's jewelry.
So you can find quickly what you need. Sell it.
Yeah.
Stash what you have.
Is this the one you're talking
going.
about that's scaling infinitely?
Nope.
So not that one?
It's not that one. We're trying to figure out how to make that one good, but so far, no ideas.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, I'll take it.
What are you talking about?
Oh wait, no, that is the one. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the poison one. I didn't look at it.
So it's the 10% critical strike damage is just scaling infinitely on it?
No, it has a cap. It just goes up to like 1,000%.
Well-
So it's a lot of damage. And then it's the interaction of that scaling with the other two interactions Dan was mentioning. One I think is the venom and the toxic thing, toxic claws with the venom. That, and then there's an aspect that gives you storm damage for a percentage of your crit damage, like 45%. So there's like 3 or 4 things interacting there.
Yeah, basically while ramping where beast is up, you gain 10% crit damage for every crit. And it caps to 990% crit damage.
Might as well call it 1,000.
Boson is easy to P8, John Hamilton, because you just go freezing arrow. Like, you just do freezing arrow, and then you run in, then you add in exploding arrow, and you basically just alternate back and forth. And then usually you use magic arrow for the guided arrow for the bosses. Like it's I've done it before. It's a little slow and it's a little painful, but like it's because of the freezing arrow's ability to just literally lock everything down. It's super easy. Like you just hold down the button basically, and as long as you've got enough mana leech, you can just go back to town and just keep buying potions if you have to. But like you'll basically work through the entire game literally just with the freezing arrow. The only time you ever really have any trouble is when you run into the cold immunes, and then that's when you switch to the exploding arrow. I had a lot of fun with that kind of stuff. And honestly, Boson is one of the characters that just like, I don't know why, but like, there's so many bows, and like, I mean, yeah, you might not always find the specific bow that you want on your Boson, but I'll be danged
You'll
if you
find something.
if you don't find something that's useful. Like you will find something that is useful. It's just a matter of like waiting and seeing which one falls, because one of them always ends up falling.
I've got more than baubles. All things have value, I suppose. Come back if you need anything else. Hmm?
I don't like the way she said
I must
anything.
wait a moment.
The exploding arrow is not too weak. It's just in P8, everything is weak. Like I feel like that's something that you're missing here. It's just P8 in general. Everything has tons and tons of health. When you're in P1, you're going to roll through everything, and that's great, but that's not what's going to happen in P8. Like, if you don't have the optimal equipment for your character, it's going to be a slog. And there's no way you're going to get the optimal equipment for your character in a freaking solo self-found. It just doesn't happen. So it's going to be slow and it's going to be painful, like I said, but it's 100% doable because of the freezing arrow's ability to lock everything down.
Especially with the cold thunders.
Well, solo self-found, you don't get access to the cold thunder, so that's why you have to build exploding / freezing. But if you did have access to the cold thunder, then you would just do freezing, and it would be even more powerful.
Oh, because you just stop at the end. You don't go past the...
Well, the goal is to hit bail. So once you've hit bail,
yeah, you're done.
You're pretty much done. So yeah, once you hit bail, you can go back and get yourself a sunder. But
at that point, you already did everything.
Yeah, you already did everything. So come on, boss, come on down. You're just taking forever.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, and that's why it gets painful. But it's the thing about Amazon is that they kind of nerfed her damage a long time ago anyway. So it's just really slow. Like I never really liked Boson after they kind of like completely demolished her into oblivion. They really hit her physical damage way too hard. Which is why the elemental damage is the go-to. Because if you play Boson, you'll see that the physical Boson is just very weak. Unless you have, like, optimal equipment. And obviously in Solo Self-Found, you're not getting optimal equipment. So, like, it comes down to elemental damage, which is what you really want to build. So that's why you do the fire and the cold. And then there's many ways you can stack the fire and the cold higher. So, you know, charms, like fire and cold charms, can actually stack it quite nicely. Enchant Merc can go a long way to adding in the fire damage, as well as the attack rating, which attack rating is also an issue. But recently they've done a lot of fixes to the attack rating problems on the Amazon, so I can imagine that, quite honestly, that Amazon's probably a lot easier to P8 right now. Ever since that last patch that fixed all of her attack rating problems.
You're still streaming, by the way, Lily. I don't know if you did that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw you die earlier, Lily.
Fireball.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, I got 151. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the next one. I need to do like a two-handed heavy weapon chest real quick, but I guess it's whatever's near me. Let's see whatever's near me. Gift of Weaponry. Let's see what that one is. Hopefully that's a two-handed.
Ah. I looked at my map.
How dare you look at your map? You don't you know? Don't you know that that's not allowed in this game?
Took a second.
Nice, heavy weapons.
I didn't exactly confirm the date, but it looks like the season is going to be 1 p.m. Eastern, which is really nice.
A lot better than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I hate the night ones because I'm already like halfway through my day. It's just messed up the way it messes with your sleeping.
Werewolf skills function as storm skills. I wonder if I could actually utilize that. I mean, if I were to grab the those passives, like there's like the every time you deal damage to like a immobilized enemy, like would those passives work with the werewolf skills if I'm utilizing that? So that I have lightning just constantly shooting out all the time?
Well, so like if you poison creepered?
Well, yeah, because poison creeper immobilizes, and then all you have to do to get access to that is deal damage to the immobilized target. So I'm spamming poison creeper all the time anyway.
It says lightning damage though, lightning specifically. Can't be like physical or poison.
It has to be lightning that's done to the target.
Yeah, it says lightning. The word lightning.
Well, I mean, I am using Storm Strike because I have the thing that turns Storm Strike into a werewolf skill.
Yeah.
Then that would count.
Up to 10% dealing damage to a vulnerable, immobilized, or stunned enemy that a lightning bolt also hits the target.
Yeah, that one doesn't matter. It's just any source.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, is that one, and then,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the electric shock. You're talking about Bad Omen?
I mean, I guess I could also grab Charged Atmosphere, too. Like, because it's on the way to that one, I could just take that pathway. I mean, it's just a couple extra points here or there. Like I don't really think it's a big deal. I could probably finagle them from somewhere. As long as I'm dishing out damage, I mean, I might as well get some free lightning bolt hits as well. Like I got tons of immobilizers going out all the time. I would assume it would equivalate to a lot of additional lightning strikes just constantly happening around me. I don't know if it's worth, like, fully investing in, but it seems like a good additional. Why am I missing my... The hell? I must have came on this character and made a video or something, because his skills are out of whack and I didn't even realize it. No, I haven't done Boson solo self on P8 yet, John Hamilton. That's what I was saying earlier, is that I want to finish that series. So I want to finish the solo self on P8 series. I mean, so far I've done Sorceress, I've done Barbarian, I've done Necromancer, Sorceress, Barbarian, Necromancer, Druid. So I still have Paladin and Amazon and Assassin left to do, which is something I will eventually get to. One day. So tired of my freaking mustache hairs going up my nostril. I don't know, like, it doesn't specifically say that the monsters need to be hit by a storm skill. Oh yeah, you guys, I just reminded myself, I need to go to, was it Gia Cool?
I was reading the wrong one. I was reading the electric shock next to it.
Or Turdolra, that's where the spirit boons are, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think you were talking about Bad Omen, Ginger. I was reading electric shock. I think that's where the confusion came in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, I'm just thinking about the fact that I have mobilizes going. It you know, what it all comes down to is I'm doing a thing, like, anyway. So why not capitalize on the thing? That's all I'm thinking about. Like you know, like if I'm hitting a target and I'm stunning them, then and there's something that like gives me like free damage for stunning a target, and I'm not gonna stop stunning targets. Like, why not just also, you know, do mo? Well, that's really bad frame rate all of a sudden. Why does it look like that? That's terrible. Is that my... Ooh, that is a yucky. Let's reboot the projector. That's still bad. Why is that so bad?
Are you doing Bulwark right now, Zen, or I don't know what you're playing?
I'm just shopping. I don't know. Kind of do want to try a Bulwark build eventually.
Man, that is just like really laggy. Looks like a freaking
Yeah, those
slideshow.
cities are getting really annoying on the lag.
It's my stream. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to see if I can fix it. Man, that is like a freaking slideshow on there. Like, what the hell is going on? It's not a slideshow on my screen. It's a slideshow on the capture, and I don't know why. It's a slideshow on the capture. It's really bad. I can't remember who it was that I was playing with yesterday, but they were doing the Bone Spear Necromancer, and they didn't have the they didn't have the most important aspect for the Bone Spear Necromancer yet, the splintering aspect. And then they were like, oh, I finally found the splintering aspect, and I was like, it's like, wait a minute, you didn't have that. It's like the one thing that's like the most important for that class, and they didn't have it. Okay, I think I figured out what was causing the issue. It's Chrome. Chrome was causing the issue. Chrome is eating up 10 trillion billion amounts of resources for no reason.
Chrome loves to do that.
Like, dear Lord
That's
Jesus.
Chrome for
His
you.
favorite pastime.
Like, I'm just
Crunch
gonna
and
I'm gonna reboot Chrome, make sure Chrome is completely killed, and then open it back up, I guess.
Chrome wins.
Chrome
I
did
think part of
win.
the issue with it is it treats every tab as a task in the task manager and allocates it separately.
Well, it consumes a lot more memory than I think anybody realizes because of the way that it likes to do things. You know how most programs will have everything wrapped in like one package, and it's like okay,
Mhm.
you know, you're consuming like 4 gigs. Well, Chrome will just lie to you, and it'll just straight up be like, oh, I'm only consuming like 500 megabytes. And then you look in your task manager, and there's like 16 entries of like 500 megabyte Chrome things. And you're like, wait a minute. No. You're not just consuming 500 megabytes. Like, you're just, hold on, let's add this up. And you start adding up all the little Chrome entries that are currently inside your task manager, and you're consuming like 8 gigabytes of RAM. He's like, you're like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? It's only 500 gigabytes. I mean, 500 megabytes. What are you talking about? 500 megabytes. And then you start looking, and it's just like, no, you're definitely consuming way more. Start closing out tabs, and like it just starts dropping dramatically. All right, so which one of these spirit boons do I need to go double into? So I'm looking at the the wolf, the wolf.
I've decided to play the slow kid during the launch of the season 1. I'm going to be a barbarian.
I mean, having one barbarian in the group might not necessarily be a bad thing.
I just kind of want to kick things in the face like you've been. It looks fun.
Yeah, the one you were thinking about was Overload, wasn't it? The spirit boon that like it's 20% chance to cause static damage. I don't really know if that one would be worth it, especially since like I'm utilizing that critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal you for 3%. I like that one. I like to be able to heal myself and sustain. And since I'm a crit build it, I get a lot of heals from that.
Mother flower.
What's the difference between frost damage and cold damage? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I'm not quite sure what you mean, sir.
One's so cold it burns.
Points in Earthen Bulwark does not decrease the cooldown. It only increases the barrier. Interesting.
I really think they need to add Unstoppable to Iron Maelstrom. I think that would be a good addition.
Iron Maelstrom is already OP.
Oh, it's pretty powerful, yeah.
That ability offers some pretty crazy stuff. One thing that it does that I don't think a lot of people actually realize is if you grab that last passive, every time you swap weapons, it reduces the cooldown of itself. So, like, if you're utilizing 2 or more abilities, and just make sure they're set to different weapons, and so every single time you use the abilities, you're just constantly reducing the cooldown of Iron Maelstrom to the point where literally you can just, like, spam it. And the more times you swap, the more times you can spam that thing. Cody's just knocked out over here.
Row.
So maybe you can answer this one for me, Zan. I'm having trouble figuring out what classifies as nature magic. Like, does the poison creeper classify as nature magic, or is it just storm skills that classify as nature magic?
The skill tags system in the game will tell you. If you just highlight over a skill, it'll tell you everything you need to know. And even the conversion things, update it. Like when I convert Storm to Werewolf, it'll update the Storm skill to say the Werewolf tag. So all the tags are there.
Yep. And basically, any of your base lightning or earth skills are nature. And after that, just whatever you convert.
Nature magic skills that consume spirit. So in that case, then anytime that you take a, like, you know, a werewolf skill and turn it into a storm skill, it then becomes a nature magic skill. Like, so there's like a whole like weird thing going on there with all that.
Yeah.
So if I use the nature's savagery aspect, which is the one that converts werewolf skills, or says werewolf skills function as storm skills, then all of my werewolf skills would then become nature magic skills.
Hellion if you want the XP, Ginger.
Interesting. Alright, I'm coming.
Like, if you just mouse over your skill on your spire, right above the ranks, or right below the ranks.
Yeah, it shows it. It shows it to you there. Like, I was confused though, because I don't know. I think I saw a couple websites had listed like Poison Creeper as a nature skill, and that was incorrect. That's why I was confused, because I thought Poison Creeper would be considered nature. I mean, it is after all like vines and, you know, like a natural like creature of the forest. I don't know.
Benner, are you did you click yes?
Yes.
So who's not clicking?
Probably Duck.
Lucky Duck, are you with us?
He's not in the Discord.
He's not in the channel?
Nope. He's not in the Discord. He also typed that he'd be back in 5 minutes in the party chat. I don't know if he ever came back.
wonder if that'll work for me. It's kind of hard to see it, but let's burn up some of my resource real quick.
I must wait a moment.
That might be really powerful with this build. I didn't even consider that. The clarity passive, which gives you 2 spirit every single time you transform into human. Because Poison Creeper and Ravens count as human form.
Yeah.
And so
And then you transfer back too.
Yeah, and so does Earthen Bulwark. So you're constantly utilizing your werewolf skills. So you're just shifting back and forth between human and werewolf constantly. Which is going to give you a pretty nice, just constant spirit gain.
Well, there's also a passive on the Paragon boards where whenever you shift between forms, you get reduced spirit cost.
Well, some of them only seem to be for like shape shifting specifically. So like you have to shift between werewolf and werebear.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump on the other channel, guys, with Ayman on Duck.
All right.
So we play in the dungeon. You're gonna come with us, Penark, or you gonna stay here?
I'll be over a little bit. Talk to these guys.
Okay.
Luli doesn't like us.
No, he just likes to not talk over people, kind of thing. You know, that's the right thing.
Anyone need an axe?
But the reason why I was looking at this one, because it doesn't require you to transform into a bear, it only requires you to transform into a human, which is interesting. So just every single time you turn into a human, and then back into your werewolf form.
Yeah, it's good if you're...
What's the item level on that axe, Trunks?
804.
804? Let me check mine real quick here. Give me a second.
Like that passive is really good if you're weaving between. Like I use it for Lightning Storm, where I auto attack, and then I use Lightning Storm channel to back and forth.
Well, I've got enough werewolf abilities that literally I'm mostly in werewolf form, but every single time I use Earthen Bulwark, Ravens, or Poison Creeper, it's shifting me back into the human form temporarily, and then I immediately shift back into werewolf form because I'm using Shred and Storm Strike and Rabies, so it's like... It seems like a kind of like a no-brainer here to grab probably 3 points in clarity, just so that it just builds massive amounts of spirit.
When your Storm Strike is not a werewolf, though, it works even better because you go Storm Strike, Shred, and you just spirit. You just go back and forth.
Well, because of the crit thing with the Poison Creeper and the Ravens, they're always up anyway. So, like, I'm constantly spamming them. Like, it's pretty crazy.
True. Definitely a good passive.
I'm actually thinking about this elemental exposure thing, too.
You want it, Wolfie?
Sorry, I was just dealing with my kid there for a second.
Oh, you're good.
Does the, I can always test it. Oh, yeah, it says 2 seconds. So I don't like using the Fierce Storm Strike on the Storm Strike, which gives you the 50% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. I actually really like using the other one instead, the one where it chains 2 additional targets. But I was looking at this Elemental Exposure, which is Lucky Hit. Your Storm skills have up to a 10% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 1 second. And you could put 3 points in that, which would make it into 30% Lucky Hit chance for 3 seconds.
Well, it depends on how reliably you can keep it up.
What do you mean? Like vulnerable? Are we talking about what? What are we talking about keeping up here, Zan?
Yes.
Because I can keep it up.
Very reliable.
No, I mean, I already have the Ravens, like, for most of my vulnerable needs, but it would, we were talking about this earlier, is that vulnerable is something that you kind of just want to have up all the time on everything. Like, it's not just about having the vulnerable up on one target. It's about having the vulnerable up on basically all the targets all of the time, if possible. Like, so what I'm looking at is, yeah, I could go with the 50% Storm Strike on the single target, and that's nice and all, and I'll get one monster that's vulnerable, but I can already do that pretty much with Ravens anyway. What I'm looking at is the fact that Storm Strike chains to multiple targets, which means that I could potentially be making multiple targets vulnerable instead of just simply one. So going with the exposed vulnerability, whatever it was called, could potentially make it so that Storm Strike is potentially making 3 enemies vulnerable at the same time. And then I combine that with my Ravens for more vulnerable uptime. And I don't know. It seems like a good option.
What you're talking about, I use that in my.
So there's also the hidden part of that with multiple targets. The way it works is when you hit the targets, you know, like that immobilize chance built in on the second upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It rolls out on every target you hit with that attack, and if one of them procs it, they're all immobilized. So hitting more targets with each attack actually increases your immobilized chance to hit them too.
Oh, nice. This dungeon's way too high for me. I'll give you some Ravens. How about that?
Like in AoE conditions, it is pretty good, but I typically just go for the vulnerable versus bosses because
I feel like if you're doing bosses, you can just swap it. Like it's 1 point. Like it's super easy. Just swap at 1 point for the bosses. But like, I don't like to build around the bosses because the majority of the content is not bosses.
Well,
so,
the other thing, the Druid exploit glyph, the first time you hit a target, they're become vulnerable for 3 seconds. So most of my builds, they're dead within that. After you hit them once, they're dead. So,
well,
depending on your build.
What I'm looking at is I want the Storm Strike to hit multiple targets because every target that it's hitting, it's also getting poisoned. Like because I'm basically critting like almost all the time with Storm Strike anyway. So hitting 3 targets and critting 3 targets and making them all poisoned seems to be better than hitting 1 target and making them only poisoned like that one monster. I just like I want as many poison dots as I can get on all the targets like at all times.
But yeah, like when you're using the exploit glyph, like everything you hit is going to be vulnerable anyways. It's just for stuff that lasts longer than 3 seconds, you're going to need to proc it.
Druid has so many ways to get vulnerable. Like your Hurricane can do vulnerable, your Cyclone Armor can do vulnerable. You have the vulnerable passive lucky hit thing that he talked about. My Tornadoes can do vulnerable. Storm Strike can do vulnerable.
The Ravens are amazing.
Ravens can do vulnerable. The Exploit Glyph can do vulnerable. There's like so many ways to get vulnerable. It's insane compared to my Bard. My Bard's like kick, Exploit Glyph.
Well, I think for the Barbarian, the real secret to keeping permanent uptime for vulnerability is the weapon mastery tree that I think everybody's sleeping on at this point. I don't think a lot of people have really realized just how ridiculous the weapon mastery tree is for keeping vulnerable uptime. You can like have almost permanent vulnerable uptime with the weapon mastery tree.
I use the chains in dungeons. The chains get vulnerable and they grip stuff together. It's really nice.
Well, I'm talking about like one combo I can think of right off the top of my head is, well, I mean, yeah, you can use the chains or you can use Death Blow. It doesn't really matter. You use the exposable vulnerability do jank, which gives you that chance. Well, not chance. It's a guaranteed next core skill causes vulnerable, and then like take Rend. Rend extends the vulnerability by 2 seconds, and it's a frontal AOE cone. So you literally would just use something like Death Blow or Chains, doesn't matter, and then you would tag it along with Rend, which extends the vulnerability by 2 seconds every single time you cast it, and then you're literally just infinite. You have infinite vulnerability at that point. On all monsters that are currently within range, you are just infinitely extending the vulnerability that you just created.
I'm not ready yet.
It's actually pretty crazy, and you can utilize it a couple different ways. I mean, like you can do the steel chains, you can do the Death Blow. You could set up Death Blow so it's literally like almost infinitely spammable. I think Death Blow is the real like master there because you can basically set Death Blow up so that it resets its own cooldown all the time. And then once you get it to the point where you basically just always have it available, you just weave it in. So you just weave it in, then their next core skill is a vulnerable, weave it in, next core skill vulnerable, weave it in, next core skill is vulnerable. And since it's got like permanent uptime, it's just always going to be available for making monsters vulnerable. And I think that's really the secret to get permanent vulnerable uptime for the Barbarian is the weapon mastery tree, the one that nobody wants to put any points in.
Yeah,
the one I'm trying to make work.
You don't really need it in dungeons for the same reason Zan explained, like especially if you're playing like Hoda, because Hoda will just one-shot the pack anyway once they're vulnerable. You don't need to extend it. It's more like Lilith, things like that. that you're thinking about how to keep it up?
Well, I'm thinking about like bleeds and things like that, and there's tons of different damage modifiers that come into play. Like, I mean, you do a lot more damage when monsters are vulnerable than when they're not. So, like, just in general, like as a general rule, if you can keep the monsters vulnerable all the time, that means you're going to have a lot more damage all the time. Like, so you're just, you know, yeah, with Hoda, like, that's a specific ability that just, it's a big old one donk, so you're not really too worried about it with that. But when you're a bleed barbarian or a poison character or something like that, and you're constantly applying dots like all the time, you want vulnerable up all the time, because literally having vulnerable up all the time means that every dot that you apply is going to have that snapshot damage. Because I'm pretty sure that's how dots work in this game, is they snapshot. Yeah. So if you make them vulnerable and then apply a dot, now the dot has the vulnerable effect, and even when the vulnerable leaves, they are still taking the vulnerable dot damage.
Every time I hit, everything I hit turns vulnerable. Like every Hoda strike says vulnerable.
The exploit glyph does that once every 30 seconds guaranteed on every mob.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about too with the Barbarian, is that it man, that's stupid. I was doing just fine until the freaking fire came up under my anus.
I'll come get you.
I'll just stay over here in the corner and be a good boy. So what we were talking about is this exploit glyph is best used with AoE attacks. Because it guarantees a vulnerable every certain number of seconds, you want to use it on big swathing AoE attacks, because it will guarantee vulnerability on everything that's hit with that one attack. So Hoda is like that, because it hits everything, right? So every time that you have that exploit glyph proc come up and you smash something with Hoda, it's going to make everything on the screen vulnerable. I mean, it's
seems like
amazing.
There's a 30-second delay in it though, because like
it's
boom, vulnerable,
you kill most people.
Vulnerable.
You kill most mobs in this game, especially on content or like 10 levels higher, doesn't matter, within like 1 or 2 shots of most abilities, like stronger abilities.
So is the barb one just like a cooldown that pops up?
What do you mean? The exploit glyph?
It doesn't actually show it, I don't think.
Exploit.
Yeah, it doesn't show it, but the exploit glyph has a 30-second internal cooldown.
Oh.
Per mob. Per mob.
Yeah, the Druid one, you just get it automatically the first time you hit them.
Yeah, so you would do with the barb too. So the first hit on a mob will give you the vulnerable status, and that's all you generally need for a standard mob. Yeah. But we're talking about like duration fights, where you don't 1-shot, 2-shot, or even 3-shot the mob, where you're fighting this mob for 20 seconds or more. You know, like.
Well, it's not even just that. It's the difference between, like, Stormstrike has a very amazing vulnerable that can apply to one monster. Flay has a very amazing vulnerable that can apply to one monster. But, like, if you're dishing out large AoE damage, or AoE bleeds, or AoE whatever, like, you generally want to apply vulnerable to everything all at once. You want permanent uptime of vulnerability on all targets, not just one target. And I guess that's also what we're saying, is that, like, with the exploit glyph, with, like, the way that you can, like, manipulate rend and weapon mastery, and, like, you can basically make everything vulnerable on the screen at the same time instead of just 1 or 2 monsters. And that's what it comes down to, is it's not just about getting vulnerable, it's also about making sure that you're making everything vulnerable. You want everything to be vulnerable. Like, you want the whole screen to be vulnerable, the boss, the elites, the little monsters, even the little baby spiders, just make them all vulnerable. And then that way, when you use your big smash, like Hoda, for instance, like, they all take massive damage.
So you just want to Sark with your party.
I mean, basically. The Necromancer can do it. The Necromancer, with that stupid splintering aspect, which is amazing, by the way, literally makes everything vulnerable at all times. Like, all he has to do is fire 1 shot into a group, and everything is vulnerable.
I mean, my slow is vulnerable, right?
No.
Because you're a barbarian, if you're making the enemies bleed.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about. So yeah, you can make them bleed, and then that makes them slow, but that doesn't make them vulnerable.
Yeah. Slow is different than vulnerable.
I'm wondering what it is, because literally, like, everything.
Exploit
glyph. Swing.
It's the exploit glyph. The exploit glyph on the barbarian is pretty amazing, but it's not. I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough on its own.
No, it's not enough by itself. It's the initial vulnerable. It's good. Every mob will get it. every time, first time.
Man, y'all ain't
Well-
feeling nothing over here. Y'all just like
Well,
a
that's
whole...
why I'm trying to see where else
I'm
it's
about
coming
to
from.
die.
Because it's
That's
not
what about
just
to happen to
the
me.
The barb has a lucky hit.
I'm about to die.
I'm not
The
ready
vulnerable
yet.
proc from exploit isn't on the first hit though, the one that procs it. So if you're just hodoing them, it's not gonna apply damage to that first one you hit it on.
Right. You just hold them, right? Because you don't.
Well,
spend
and
more.
that's what I'm saying is like your first hit when you get into a big group of monsters should be an AoE attack. That's why a lot of the times you'll see me whenever I'm on my Barbarian, it's just Iron Maelstrom. I just use Iron Maelstrom right away because Iron Maelstrom hits everything on the entire screen, makes everything vulnerable, applies a bleed to everything after it makes them vulnerable, which is amazing. And now they're bleeding with a vulnerable bleed on them, and then so now they're slowed as well as bled. And then I go into my damage rotation, and everything just takes massive amounts of damage from that point, because they're all nice and vulnerable for me. I start stomping. I start, you know, doing my little kicks and my shouts and everything dies so fast. But, like, it really comes down to, like, taking advantage of the way that exploit glyph works, which is you want to use your big AoE attack first before you do anything else.
Yeah, you can leap in. You can use your chains.
Leap
you can
works.
use-
Earthquake works, ground
Charge.
stomp works, all sorts of things that are AoE. But it's just a change in the way you do your rotation. You don't run in, you don't use your little swipe first. You don't attack one time on one monster first, because that's just going to waste the exploit glyph. You hit your big AoE first, and then that makes everything nice and vulnerable, and then you start your rotation.
My one swipe though does make them vulnerable though, because I used Flay.
Flay will make one monster vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a chance though. It's not guaranteed. The guaranteed version
It's a
is the exploit
30.
version.
It's a 30% with two-handed
On a
weapon.
two-hander,
So if you
yeah.
make sure you're running your two-hander with that, it's not bad. So ever since they buffed it, it's pretty good. But that's great for bosses because then you can just guarantee vulnerability on your single targets.
Yeah, that was a nice buff they did.
I've got it coming from a few different places, and
There's also that ability
if
that
there's a cooldown, it's not just exploit. There's no way.
there's also an ability on the barb somewhere that lets the vulnerable travel to other
I'm not ready yet.
close characters. Can't remember which one it is, but another set of Frostburn.
That's an aspect.
No,
I know
let's
it-
crowd
I know
control
it has
travel to others, not vulnerable. Vulnerable is not a crowd control.
Yeah,
There's one that's for
vulnerable is not a
vulnerable.
crowd control, unfortunately. Well, actually, that's the reason why it's so powerful because it's not because it actually affects bosses when crowd controls don't.
Right.
Mm.
It's its
What's
its own
up, Steven?
separate thing.
How's it going, man? I see that little heckin' Bobeckin cat.
Surprised how
Decent
much
value.
vulnerable damage Sork actually gets. Like I'm like 250%. I don't even have a two-hander.
Speaking of sorcerers, has anybody tried out the? Has anybody tried out the? What is it called? Frozen Orb. Since they fixed it, apparently there was like a bug where it wasn't applying its damage properly. Apparently they said it was just like not. It was just not getting the damage bonus that it was supposed to be getting.
I guess I could do that with my build.
Because it's according to the patch notes. Let me pull it up real quick and read it. Because it sounded pretty significant. To the point where literally it might have like actually been good if it had worked, but it wasn't. Okay, here it is. Fixed an issue where the damage multiplier. Yeah, I remember that. It was something significant. So the damage multiplier for enhanced frozen orb was not applying correctly. So apparently the enhanced frozen orb, I guess that's probably the second or maybe the third passive. Apparently it just was not applying. So it was just missing its entire damage multiplier that was supposed to be there.
Well, that's 30% damage if cast above 50 mana.
So that's pretty significant, actually, since it's a multiplier.
I said just threw 5 points into it. I'll try it out.
Any more on our friendly cow level?
I haven't seen anything else. I need to go back to that Discord and check and see what kind of progress they're making. I've been trying to figure things out too, and I'm not just a bunch of dead ends so far. I've gotten a bunch of people message me, tell me that they have the item or they had the item, but nobody can provide me with a screenshot that they actually had it. They're like, I know I had it, and then they go and look in their inventory and it's not there. A 793 staff.
There's a 810 Wolfie.
Not bad at all. Yeah, I'll nab that.
I'm thinking maybe running the blurred beast on my two-handed staff might be the best way to go. I don't know which one to put on the staff is the best, but the blurred beast one definitely does seem powerful.
Which one's the blurred beast?
It's the one that seeks out nearby poison enemies and instantly dealing on the staff. It's up to 200% poisoning damage to them.
Oh, the shred. Yeah, I mean it'd be nice.
Reroll
but
the lightning resist.
It'd be nice. You don't have to though.
I'm just thinking if maybe there's anything else to put on there. I don't know, but
Do you use the fortify one? That's like goes up to 80% multiplier when you're fortified, or based on your fortification, I should say.
I'm just trying to. I guess that'll work for right now. That's a 793. Let's throw it on the 793. I mean, right now I'm using the duration of Earthen Bulwark. I have the shred on my gloves, which is going to transfer to my staff right now, so I can put something else on there. And then I have Mad Wolf's Glee and Tempest Roar on, so like those are kind of like set.
No, as far as your damage one, you're not using the fortify one. It's pretty good. Your core skills deal up to 40% increased damage multiplier based on the amount of fortify.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too. I have that one literally sitting on a ring right now, and I was thinking about throwing that on. It's a multiplier, and it looks really nice.
Yep.
So you're saying put that one on the staff instead?
Well, that'd be if you had a perfect one. Let's say that'd be 80 times multiplier versus the 100% shred poison, which is give or take. I don't know which one's going to perform better, but I think the 80 times multiplier.
Isn't it technically a multiplier too, though, when put onto the staff? I mean, if you think about it, it's if I have like I don't know, say 1,000 poison damage on a target, if it's 200% poison damage, then that's just a ×2 multiplier to the poison damage.
It is, but the other one's multiplying all damage, including your crit, which then it's based off the poisons getting that crit. So it's like modifying the base, like you argue about a lot. Like the base is more important. So are you going to modify the base, or are you going to modify just the shred thing?
Increased damage based on your mana for it.
For one, that's all damage. Any damage you do, crit, non-crit, poison, not poison, storm strike, whatever.
I'm looking. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking hard. I mean, I think I'm definitely going to put that in here somewhere, no matter what. But I mean, that's a difference between. I don't have a perfect one right now, but that's a difference between a 30x or a 40x and an 80x, which is pretty massive.
I mean, Frozen Orb's alright, but it's kind of clunky to use.
Well, there's a couple different aspects that work with it. I was thinking about that one that's
It's the one that does
that makes it stand still and then it pulses.
Yeah, well, the main issue is like you have to be at a set distance to cast it, but to use it, you want to teleport. Like you want to cast it, teleport onto the explosion area to Frost Nova, and get all your setup. But then to cast it again, you have to move away. Like it's just requires more positioning than ice shards for less damage. Oh, and also it explodes and just cancels on terrain hits.
76 is that better than mine? I can't even tell. It's where I need that calculator sometimes just to like work this stuff out. Because like it's jankety numbers. So 176 minus 50%. So that would be an 88%. Mine is currently 79, so that's better than mine. Okay. So that should extract to an 88. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna overwrite that over my gloves. Actually, I've got a pair of gloves that I'm waiting on. No, never mind. I say that, and then, like, it'll take me forever to hit the level to actually put on the other pair of gloves, and I'm, like, waiting with something better sitting in my inventory that I could have put on the entire time.
Do you feel it?
Alright, socket the staff.
Explain.
I'm afraid. Good for
Thank you.
Be wary of bandits. Damned vultures.
Alright, upgrade the staff.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, that'll do for right now. 793 plus 25 certainly isn't bad. I can upgrade that later. Is there a place that showcases all my builds? Yeah, the Theorycraft videos. If you take a look at my live streams, you'll see a bunch of Theorycraft videos. I did a Theorycraft video on this character before I started, and I mean, granted, they're going to change as I play around with them and like refine them, but for the most part, if you go and take a look, I think I even have like a builds.gg like little thing showing off like how I have things set up. In the future, like when they're more finished, I might like set them up a little differently. He exploded. That was rude.
This is your favorite kind of zone.
It is. It's his favorite. That's why I picked it.
Not sure if you read it.
Oh, he did the death explosions. Did you choose this one on purpose just to torment me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he did. He did. He admitted it right there.
It's
The giggle admitted it.
Oh, I said
He's been
yes.
saving it for you.
I have.
Oh wow, what's some
He
ridiculous,
keeps them in the inventory.
ridiculously tanky pants? I don't know if these are better than mine, but wow. Like everything on them is a tank mod.
Oh my gosh.
Are these better than mine? I think they might be better
What
than mine.
just happened?
You got angry.
Let's see here. 6.1% damage reduction. Flat. These have dodge chance, so I don't really care about the dodge chance. That 6.1% flat is nice. 16.5% is a perfect roll on the close. That is very nice. 11.5% from poison. It's a pretty good roll. Man. If only those were barrier instead of resource, they'd be like perfect. I think they still might be better than mine in total damage reduction.
Yeah, they're decent. Like, armored is really good for Druid.
That's 4 really nice defense mods. I might even could re-roll one of those and try and get it a little bit better. Probably the trying to think here.
That's like all my pants are on this character.
I mean,
Defense and life.
They really all are like really high though. The only one that needs to be re-rolled is the werebear form. Because I'm not a werebear. So I re-roll the werebear to something else, like maybe fortified.
Howdy, people.
Hello?
Or maybe a skill. I could re-roll it to a skill too.
I'm not doing too bad, boys.
What's up?
What's up? How's the Barbarian?
I'm on the Druid now, getting blowed up by explosions.
Ooh.
He likes it.
I don't. I hate it. This is one of the worst mods. Like, literally, you'll fight a pack of spiders or something, like little baby spiders, and every baby spider explodes, and they'll just, like, one-shot. They'll literally just one-shot you.
Major speaker background noise.
I'm not ready yet.
Yes, Cody. You woke up from your nap? You take a nap? Why you got a frowny face? Put your frowny face away.
I must wait a
No frowny face.
Oh yeah, if you're playing Druid, the only thing you should gamble is totems, because it's impossible to get a good one.
I must wait a moment.
Start early.
You mean aspects?
No, just getting a good offhand one-hander.
Oh, I was gonna go with staff on this one. That was my thinking.
Oh, what build you planning?
Two-hander. God dang it! Explosions everywhere. Explosions. More explosions.
And you're
We heard you like explosions. We got you some explosions to go with your explosions. The monster that just exploded, died, exploded, and then exploded again.
You have an explosive planet there?
I must wait a moment.
Can I boost you from 55 to 60 real quick? There's no real quick once you pass level 50. It feels like once you pass level 50, there's no quick about it. Here it's just kind of slow grind. You're just gonna have to do your best.
I'm not ready
You can get a quick boost up to 45/50, but anything past that is much slower.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a boost to 50 here soon for a Druid.
I've got a Necro that needs capstone done.
The Codex entries are always at their weakest state, Vector Fox. However, they recently made a change for the Codex entries that they change depending on the item level of the item that you put the Codex entry on. But it's better now to get them from items than it is to get them from the Codex.
Okay, this guy just needs to stop following me.
I'm not ready yet.
Can't even help you. I'm just trying to I'm just throwing some vulnerables out and then trying to stay alive.
Hey, look, I've got triple exploding guys here.
I don't like that. You can have them. They're all yours. They're your friend. Your friends. Not my friends.
I must wait a moment. I need more.
Boy, he does not want to.
This brave skittery guy just doesn't want to die.
Yeah, some of them. I think he's got.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, he's not going to explode? Okay.
I don't know why he didn't explode.
I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to
He's
complain.
giving you a break.
I like that. It's very kind of him. Unlike Chunks.
Hey, I haven't blown you up yet.
Oh, what the heck is this?
I just started an event.
Fire guys all of a sudden
Red.
just spawned on my head. I was looking at my map.
They do that. You open the menu.
I'm like, oh hey.
No better.
Stop looking at us. Can't do that.
I got a Paragon point that I wouldn't dare put in.
You're not going to put in your Paragon point? Why not?
Not in this.
You mean something's going to happen to you or something if you do it?
I'm gonna get blown up.
You mean you might get blowed up?
Get a part
I
of my
just-
anatomy blown up.
I wasn't even in the fight. He just targeted. He just targeted me with the fireball from 8 million miles away. I couldn't even see him. I just saw a fireball come at my head.
Oh, thank God this one's over.
It's like I found Wolfie's favorite too.
Yeah, I'm not letting Chunks pick the thing anymore.
Birds are full.
There's just that boss at the end. He was vicious.
That was a boss?
Yeah, like the final elite, whatever you want to call him. I don't know what to call him.
I mean, he's not technically a boss, but I guess he's technically a boss. I don't know. Like, he's not boss level. Like, he can be stunned and stuff, but like, they often come with like 4 elite modifiers. Like, they're obviously meant to be more powerful than your regular average elite.
Yeah, they are vicious. They're more powerful than the world bosses.
You don't want that.
Cody, what's the matter with you, buddy? You got a bug up your butt?
All
That's
things
just-
have value, I
That doesn't
suppose.
sound pleasant at all.
It's not meant to be pleasant. It's a bug up your butt.
Bug, but
What kind of bugs he got there? It's awful. Poor fella.
Well, you... No, don't come up here. I'm a karate chop. You want to get some karate chops? Back it up. Karate chop, boy. I said back it up. Ah.
Don't ruin all that work.
Such a big baby.
Ooh, some 812 boots. These must be like Druid boots, though. Ginger, did you drop some boots on the ground?
I don't know, maybe. I think Cody's got to go to the bathroom. Do you got to go Peppadoodus? He did a spin. I don't know who taught him how to do this, but whenever he's excited about something and you get it correct, he does like a spin. He's just like, do a spin.
Don't be a stranger. Come back soon.
One second. Be right back.
I'm gonna take him out to go Peppadoodus. They did change the super unique drops. I'll talk about when I get back, or somebody else can tell you how they did it.
Not those targeted monsters?
Oh yeah, the rare guys. They basically got rid of them, dropping every single time, and the price being 2 gold because they saw the infinite rerolls, so they stopped that. They increased the drop rate to a normal drop rate for any kind of item that you find from a world monster, and increased the price back up to normal. So they're extremely rare to farm, or difficult to farm to get the item that you want now. And because of that, and the increase of gold, they've erased their value completely.
Yeah, they're worthless.
You should not be farming them at all anymore. They have been thrown onto the trash pile of history.
what's that?
Those super unique bosses that you can find in the world, the named ones that Ginger did a video on.
That could drop the 820 items plus the 820 plus items.
They're just not worth your time anymore because they just don't. They're not a guaranteed drop, and they have a gold value now.
Okay. So if you're lucky, if you come across one and you kill it and it's cool, it's got a good item level, that's great. But don't waste your time focusing it. You're better off just doing Nightmare Dungeons and HellTides and all the content that they want to funnel everybody towards, and not the content that most of us as ARPG players actually do, which is farm specific things over and over and over.
And over. At Chaos Sanctuary.
The best way to get a good weapon now is level multiple versions of your character 80 and just shop the vendors every hour.
Just buy one off Discord or GB.
The shame that they've turned the game into shop farming simulator.
I don't know. D2 was the same.
Yeah. You run in and out of town shopping constantly for that.
I guess I never played that way.
Yeah, you didn't have to play that way, but you can.
You get reset for that 30 res, 70 life belt. What's wrong with you?
There's something of the whale.
Trap claws.
Oh, don't get me started on shopping for trap claws. Just many hours. I still haven't found 6 plus 6. Still haven't.
220 gloves for the Amazon. I mean, come on.
Can't you get 230s from the vendor?
Yeah, 230s, I should say. Yeah.
320s.
Didn't I pop a dungeon? No, I didn't.
Then
So can you not dismantle your elixirs and turn them back into material?
That would be amazing.
Oh, Butcher, hello. You saying Butcher boy? Oh, you got nuked. Oh, I just hit him for 22 million. It just absolutely deleted him.
Oh, poor Butcher. You stood next to a wall.
Poor Butcher boy.
You need to put in, like,
Give me the Butcher, yeah, give me the Cleaver again.
a roaming Bishy Bush or
Chunks, pick a thingamajig.
something.
and
Ginger's not here. Quick, do it quick.
Invite me, too.
it
Sure,
won't.
put an X in chat.
It'll fail.
Oh, that's right, because he's AFK.
Yeah.
Put an X in chat. We got room for one.
They should add a Pindle skin that you can't kill. Like he just goes down when you kill him, and then he revives. And if he hits you with the charge, it's auto one shot.
That would be funny.
So you just have to down him, and then you clear the dungeon, and just don't let him catch you.
Hey, I have a
Yeah.
really nasty one that we could run that you and Ginger will love.
Well, we got some
Level-
areas here now, so.
Yeah.
What level are we doing?
It's got Death Pulse and it's tier 56.
42, 43,
56.
56 now. Holy cripes.
I'm not doing a 56.
I can carry you through a 56 if you need.
I mean, I can, but I don't want to.
You want to do a 56 Death Pulse with
Yeah, I walk through like it's
crit
nothing.
resist and barrier breakers
Yeah, I'll smash it.
in Lost
know.
Archives? That's a
We
quick
could
one.
do Drifting Shade. Those are always fun.
Nope, I'll leave the party.
I'll leave the party. Not doing it.
No, I'll leave the party. What do you mean? We ain't doing that.
The other one is the Lightning Storm. I got the Lightning Storm one.
Those are just so slow. They're so
Just,
slow.
just use your Blood Mist. You're fine. Just
I'm a
ignore it
bard.
completely.
I don't have
Oh,
Blood Mist.
Hey, you playing Bob?
Iron's getting in.
I thought you was playing Rogue still, Trump.
No, I'm on my bard now.
No, fair play.
All right, let's see what I got. I can craft 3.
But I got all kinds of like 45s, 43, 42.
Archives with Stormbanes. Mugen with Cold, which is not horrible.
Lost Archives is just so fast.
Yeah, we could do that. It's a 47.
Yeah, you can still get them.
Run get the things.
You can still get them at 850 item power Gravelhead.
Yeah, they just don't drop all the time. They're just normal drop rates. Cost a lot of
He's
gold.
back.
There was a possum in the There was a possum in the
Did Kubus get them?
Yeah, it was in the
Dujunk. It was in the Dujunk.
we got an external laundry room, I guess would be the term. He was in the external laundry room having fun in there.
Pop it.
Be riding the washing machine.
Pretty much.
I have to respond to my own thing. What's that?
Take your Mr. Pig. Here, take your pig. Or don't take your pig, whatever.
I do dislike Stormbane though.
Where's his alligator?
His alligator. Where's your alligator? He'll go and find
Sorry, I
it.
got bad rolls on mine, but you know.
He's pretty funny. He'll go and find it. You just tell him you're like, hey, go find your alligator, and he'll be like, he'll go run around the house looking for it. It's cute. That storm Spain is gonna get me. I just know it. I don't even need anyone to tell me it's gonna get me.
Oh, why is that thing here?
Ow, 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 ow.
Chunks, I tell you.
I didn't do it.
Wasn't me, I didn't do it neither.
I totally didn't do it.
Somebody died.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fight level 101 monsters. I don't even know why I'm rolling with you guys. You guys are mean.
What are we doing?
This is like 101. Like these are like way out of my league. The level penalty
I
is.
just have to stand somewhere and not die.
The level penalty is so severe. I don't know. I can't even like fight a baby spider.
There's no spiders in here.
Okay, well there might be a baby spider. It might be growing. Might be trying to do their thing. You got your sorceress up to 67, Stephen Walker. Nice.
I can't apparently fight him either. What is with this stuff today? I do fine on my own at this level. Do they get
the level
stronger
scaling
with
at
more people?
4 is crazy.
Well, you're welcome. The Storm Rock is stuck on me, so you guys can just have a free non-Storm
we're both
Rock
dead back here.
enabled do-jank.
Yeah, let's just re-roll another dungeon because this is just.
Why
I thought I would be able to help carry this level, but
Why are we doing
apparently
47?
because I'm dumb.
I mean, there's no reason to do anything higher than 3 levels higher than the highest person in the group. So, like, and even then, like, I don't know. Honestly, like, it seems like it's more fun to just do, like, the 85s and stuff. Because you can just roll through them.
I don't get experience there.
All right, let's all leave and just do a different one.
Get my demon's heart.
You're a baboot.
I'm not ready yet.
Picking up
So
loot.
85, it would be. I would need to roll a 23.
Not ready yet.
Well, 3 levels
Well, you
higher
can roll
than
like
chunks.
a 35 or so. That we've been storming those like no
Wolfie,
problem.
or, like, I don't know.
Don't mind my poor math skills.
I must wait a moment.
That's a lot of monsters. Where's my escape scroll?
So you still trying to push through this one?
I must wait a moment.
And I'm killing stuff.
Okay.
We're still in here. I might as well just keep on killing. Just trying to get the stone thingy.
I had the bulwark
good.
build. That bulwark
XP
build looks
on
so
my
silly.
character's pretty good.
Stormbane would leave me alone. I could pick up this thing and put it in the middle. It would be halfway done.
We gonna soldier through then? Alright.
I can't help it all. These monsters are way beyond me.
Yeah, I'll just spawn you up and just don't move, I guess.
Gandalf. Well, I only moved because I thought we were leaving.
I gotta go get one more.
Fucking, what was it, like Gandalf, where he's like, "Fly, you fools! This foe is beyond even me."
Oh,
I
just
died
cornered
on the way
myself.
over there. Randomly trained some rose explosions.
Cody, it's a rapper. You are so jealous of everything, including a rapper. It's a crinkly rapper. You want to fight? Because that's how you get fought. Knuckle. I'll rip your soul out of your chest. Kalima.
Whoa.
Kalima Exceeding. He said, "Them's fighting words. I'm coming up." How about that? Beat you up. Beat you.
Yeah, careful in the room I just died in.
Yeah, I went in the wrong room.
Watch it on YouTube and Twitch to hog all the TVs so your kids can't turn on their horrible shows. What, you don't want to hear baby shark go doot 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 doot, baby shark go doot 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 doot, baby shark go doot 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 doot, baby shark go. I can tie up the rock. Watch here. Just let me die, and then res me, and then the rock will just stay on me the entire time. And then you guys don't have to worry about the rock no more. The rock won't leave me as long as none of you guys come over and attract the rock. So don't tickle the rock's butthole. Don't do it. Now I'm useful. See, look. I'm useful for the first time ever.
Jesus. Oh, I'm about to die.
But you don't have a rock anymore, though, which is nice.
Trying to find the... Found the rock.
Yeah, don't come over here. The rock's over here, and my rock.
No,
Go away.
not that rock. I found the box.
If you could come help me, that'd be great, Chunk.
I'm covered up right now. Trying to pick this box up.
I don't
They're just
know.
hitting me
What
with lightning
what
and
kids
stuff.
like to watch and what captures their attention is often the most crazy stuff.
Alright,
My nephew, when he was younger, I remember
got the box.
the only show he wanted to watch was Barney the Dinosaur. That was it. That was the only one he would watch.
There's chest chunks,
Yeah, but
careful.
Barney was gangster.
He would sit there cross-legged on the floor and sing the song and everything. I love you,
Alright.
you
Get it.
love me. Used to drive me
We're a
insane.
happy family. Yo.
I'll mute you right now.
Yeah, I was like, that's like server mute. Those days are long gone for me, and they
Yes,
don't
they
need to
are.
return.
I make fun of him every now and then because he's an adult now. He's like in his 20s,
Oh,
and I'll be like,
God's
remember
sakes.
when you used to love Barney the Dinosaur? And he'd be like, shut up. And I'd be like, I love you. And he'd be like, shut up, Daniel.
Oh. Where'd that come from?
I'm just soaking up EXP on Incur. Look at me.
I'm
Look at
dead.
my ghostly wolf. What is
Yeah,
this?
I'm
What
not
is
in
this? A
charge of
one?
picking the
Is
dungeons
this a
anymore.
1v1?
Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, first off, you picked a really high-level dungeon. Let's go over the ways that you failed us, sir. Okay, first off, it's a really high-level dungeon. Second, you picked Stormsbane Raft. Out of all of the things that you could have chose, why did you pick Stormsbane Raft? The evil rock that follows you around and one-shots everything. He did. The Stormsbane Raft is one of the worst. Like, literally one of the worst ones. Like, because it literally just teleports to you and follows you around the whole dungeon. I remember one time I tried to outrun it, and you can totally outrun it, and when you outrun it, it just teleports on top of you. It literally
Goes
just
right in front of you. It's like,
yeah,
"Ah."
it literally just tele-stomps directly on you, and you're like, oh yeah. Mid-firing too, like it'll be mid-firing the ability, and it'll just teleport stomp on you while it's mid-firing the ability, and hit you like guaranteed. It's almost better. It's almost better to actually let it follow behind you instead of outrunning it, because if you let it follow behind you, it's slow. But every time it teleports, it's really fast.
Hey, Chunks did.
Yeah, an 800 item power butcher's cleaver with a bottom roll on the effect.
Wonderful. Good carry, Chunks.
Yep. Hey, I
Yeah,
carried by holding the rock's attention. Okay. Alright.
That helped. I do like Lost Archives though.
Yeah,
Just
this
'cause
isn't a
you
bad
can-
map.
You can skip everything and just run over and get the rock, put them in, come back. As
I gotta
long
go
as
repair my
Storm ain't
gear.
up there waiting on you, you're okay.
I got 1275 in chat revenue. Look at me, I'm fancy. Or 1257. Apparently I'm dyslexic. I'll be reading stuff backwards. I got this fancy new staff too. I was excited to test out and walked into the dungeon, got murdered. Hey, would you like 8080 murder?
They need to put the magic find picture like function back too.
Or they take that completely
I'm not
out.
ready
They
yet.
disabled
Yeah,
it
it's gone.
because somebody was friggin' exploiting the crap out of it. Apparently, that's what I've been told.
Do you use
Yeah,
Ren?
you just use the reset dungeon method with a magic find secret when they don't like it.
I mean, it was an exploit. And stop exploiting the game. You're ruining it for the rest of it.
Anybody want that?
Now, none of us have access to Magic Find dungeons because y'all were exploiting.
I didn't do it. I didn't manage to get one. I tried. But we used all my materials, did not get one, so I gave up.
He hit 14.
I used to get them all the time. I didn't think they were really that difficult to get there and get your hands on, to be honest.
Couldn't get hold of them.
I would get like, if I crafted like 6 or 7, I would get
Yeah,
like
I'm
one
okay,
in
you
almost
can sell
every single 6 or 7 I would craft.
I remember Ginger used Rend on his barb.
It's not a bad ring.
Any werewolves need a 8-10 mace? I mean, you gotta level up to get to it, but you know,
Is it two-handed?
that's two-handed.
No, it's one-hander.
It's a one-handed.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh,
So
these are both sacred.
it's useless, isn't it?
Well, for a mace build it isn't.
Mace offhand.
Yeah.
I use swords on my 2 one-handers.
I'm not sure if it's useful or not, but it's of level to where it might be useful for somebody, so I asked.
Okay. Well, how
I must
about
wait a moment.
Dark days upon us. You need a proper weapon.
this? There's a 41. That shouldn't be that bad.
It'll be a
So-
96. Yeah, we've been doing good on 95, 96s.
It's just volcanic, so you can't really stand still.
Ever.
Well, unless you're dead and then revive, then you can stand still all you want. Where's the dungeon at?
I have no clue. There it is, way up top, top right.
Okay. It's like, where is it?
It's actually a really quick one. You gotta kill the 3 aspects, the like aspect beasts.
He's a quickie. I got it.
It's got bandits and beasts.
Oh
Bandits
my.
and beasts and friends, oh my. Bandits and beasts and friends. I'm gonna see if I can get my doojanks all set up here.
You and your dojanks.
I do like my doojanks.
If we get bored of leveling, I'm willing to power level people with their new ults if they would like.
I would like my capstones done on my level 6 necro.
I would
do
make a
that.
druid and join for that.
I won't be on too long though. I have to work.
Oh god, those volcanic eruptions.
Okay, that's what I was standing in. That was
the shock towers.
In.
I don't like the
Yeah.
shock towers.
Those suck too. We need to dumb it down to a 37 or lower.
I think that was just like Frozen Enchanted Elite.
I was just trying to catch up. I got stuck.
Oh, yeah, great. Hit the E button. Yes, good job, Nick. That's what we want to do. Bring up our emotes so I can't do what I need to do.
Cody, don't drink water and come over here and rub your snoot on me. It's rude. Yeah, that's right. I said it's rude. He doesn't like it when I make fun of him neither. He gets mad.
Well, how would you feel if they made fun of you?
He said, "Don't make fun of me. Stop it."
Ramalama Ding Dong, right? That poison is vicious. Everything in here is vicious. This level sucks.
Why you always gotta come up here and be mean to me? How about that?
What exploded in what? What?
I don't.
I don't know, the
There's
lightning, the poison, the cold, plus that volcanic explosion.
The volcanic is really bad. It's 3 explosions that constantly spawn on you all the time. You can't ever stay still. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta keep moving all the time. A lot of the times you don't even know you get hit by it. That's how stupid it is.
Oh, they've done too many ground effects in this game, that's for sure. I can't argue that.
What is the matter with you? I just took you out to go potty. I just took you out to go potty. What is wrong with you? You want a swift
Know
kick
what
in the
it is.
butthole?
It's the quill
That's
rats.
just
Blame the
mean.
quill rats.
I got a swift kick in the butthole. I'll give you.
That's just hateful.
Right there. Bring me Mr. Pig. I see Mr. Pig, and I also see that you are completely covered in every food and water that you just ate, and you're just rubbing it all over me like I'm a dish rag. Come here. Give me your horrible mutated mouth. Wipe some of that saliva off of you so you don't have all that saliva everywhere, so you're not wiping it on everybody. There. And then he starts licking me. He's like, "What? Saliva? You said you wanted